Owls.
Turn on Night Owls.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the Northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Night Owls programme. Alan Robson with you, of course, on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thank you very much for joining with us. Now, you have possibly noticed it's Mother's Day today, so we want your calls about your mum. Best thing, funniest thing, daftest thing, most embarrassing thing you could possibly talk about that she wouldn't want you to tell me. 01914 883188. Awful, strange, peculiar. What's a bad habit? Face it, she's had a lovely day. She's probably had a present or two, been spoiled, had a card, got the flowers, maybe a phone call from you. Hello, pet. We've had all of that. Now let's get the truth out there. If there's something awful that she's done, tell me about it. If there's something that really paid you off about your mum, tell me that as well. We'll have all of that. However, we also want your pet peeves. Pet peeves. Your dog, cat, snake, ant farm, your terrarium, your cage full of chipmunks, whatever pet you've got, I want to know the best and the worst things about it. The best and the worst about your pet. Give us their names, put their picture up, and we'll circulate it around planet Earth for you. We'll do all of that. And I think we're also doing a thing where what was the last photograph you took on your phone or had received on your telephone? We want you to send them in too, okay? Asking a lot. That's a big shout. We'll send you the best ones that we're legally allowed to do, okay? So what was the last picture that you've got on your phone? Send that to us. Tony, have you already sent ours out there? We have. We've sent ours out. Ours are online now. You can check them out. See what the last picture on our phones, and they are genuinely the last 3 photos on all of our telephones, because I made them swear and I checked their telephones. So there you go. What was the last picture and what was it all about? It doesn't need an explanation. We want all of them. But talking about mums, it's funny where Night Owls has cropped up.
My son's 25 and you were actually present at the birth. When I was having him at the Princess Mary, Night Elves was on, and you were doing the ITV telethon where you were giving away a week's holiday in Mallorca.
Right.
And actually, while I was in labour and giving birth, I remember you saying, "Oh, congratulations, you won a week in Mallorca." And I remember thinking, "Oh my God, I wish that was me." And he never slept for 13 months, so I blame you. So he's a proper little night owl.
There you go. How wonderful is that? Well, it's a tradition. As you know, Night Owls, part of everybody growing up here in the North. I was proud to be part of it. And there's some things that you've got to tell your mum. Now, I don't know about you. Have you, when you were little, and ask any mum, they've all had the same thing. To be honest, Chris, who's on our telephone, his mother had to do this week because he's off on a week's holiday soon. And he had a bit of a sore bum. Now, when I was little, I can remember my mum, I'm saying, "Mum, my bum's really sore." I'd be about 7, 8-year-old. And my mum would say, "Well, let's have a look." It's what mums, no dad in his right mind would ever say this, but mums, "Well, let's have a look." So you end up over your mum's knee with your pants pulled down and your mother putting cream where nobody in their right mind would want to touch. That's what's special about mothers. They go to the nth degree to keep you safe and sound. Now, you think that's bad, and it was awful, 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 awful. There's worse things you can tell a mother.
I got crabs.
Right.
But it wasn't on the sexual nature. I don't know how I caught them. At the time I wasn't with anybody.
They can jump a foot off a toilet seat. That's what I've heard.
Well, that's what I thought. I'd caught them on a toilet seat.
Right.
So what is at the time I was living at my mother's when I was in my 20s, and I thought, I kind of couldn't find out what this is. And I had to ask my mum, do us a favour. Will you have a look to see what this is? And all I got to do, dirty, dirty boy. And I was like, oh, hey, Mum, I'm embarrassed as it is, but like, who else am I going to turn to? I can't go to my dad. I can't go there. But the worst thing, my mum was my best friend at the time.
Yeah.
And like I say, she took it on the chin. And she went, don't ever do that to me again.
How about that? Now, I've never had crabs, and I know that because I did find some things crawling around down there, but they weren't walking sideways. So I think, if anything, I had lobsters. Anyway, also, setting fire to your own husband.
I thought that was the best way of dealing with it.
That's just fantastic. That's absolutely real life right there. She falls asleep with a cigarette in her mouth, sets the bed sheets on fire, so says, I'll push it on me husband. Woof! Up it goes. Hey, but that's people had died doing that.
Well, he woke up just as it was lighting. And he rushed into the bathroom and flung it in the bath.
I would imagine
that's... calling me all these names.
I would imagine, though, that split second when he was like half asleep and just realising he'll woke up and he gone, ah! And he'd be batting everything with his hand, was he? I love it.
Oh, it was so funny, but he didn't think it was funny.
No.
I wasn't allowed to smoke up the stairs anymore.
And there's the occasional nightmare for a mother.
I turned around for a couple of minutes and he was gone out of the buggy where I was, absolute up the height, screaming, shouting, saying some paedophiles got him. So
how old was he at this time?
About 3.
3? Oh, hell's bells.
They were looking in the changing rooms, couldn't find him anywhere. So she phoned the police. So there's people on the other side of the road laughing. And I'm going, what, they're laughing at? And I looked in the window and he was standing with one of the little kids, mannequins. And he was pulling faces at them on the other side of the road. It's terrible.
It is terrible. Now, we had somebody that said their child was born during night owls. She wasn't alone. We've had hundreds. The baby was born while you were listening to night owls. That's the biggest honour we could possibly have. So I'm presuming the nurse is going, push, and you're going, no, let's listen just a little
I was being very quiet.
That's great.
It was. She was born, it was 11:05, so it was just quite near the beginning.
Absolutely. Not to miss anything, you see. Common sense. Now, we want you ringing in to tell us what's special about your mum. If you want to I want to tell me mum this, I want to tell me mum that, well, just do it. Of course, it's Mother's Day. You're allowed. I also want to find out times, if you are a mum yourself, first of all, happy Mother's Day. But secondly, kids embarrass you. Oh, hang on, here's one just coming in. Lisa says, when I told my mum I was gay, she told me she had slept with one of my friend's mothers, but it wasn't for her. Wasn't the answer I expected. No. Kids embarrassing you. Tell me your story.
We had to go to the nursery and we're all sitting there and the kids all had to get up, stand up one at a time and talk about their home life and what stuff they'd wrote down. When my daughter gets up and she's standing, she says, oh yes, we play with Barbies in the house and Mum and Dad look after the dogs. And when the dogs poo on the front carpet, my mum and dad just rub it in with their feet. and we're just sitting there going, oh my God. everybody who's like lives in our street are all there as well.
They're all saying, keep your shoes on when you go in there. Keep your shoes on. And, of course, the one thing that I've heard over the years, probably more than any other phrase, never from a boy, always from a girl child. And the girl child, what do they say? Always, and I mean always, oh, I can tell my mum everything. You liar. But I keep getting told it.
Me and my mum are pretty open anyway, so...
Yeah, but you wouldn't go in and say, oh, hey, kissing my boyfriend yesterday, he let me touch his penis. I mean, you wouldn't go that far with your mother, would you? Blame me.
No.
No. You see, that's the point.
No, there is a limit to it.
There you are. So is there, or have you told your mum that kind of stuff? Because imagine it the other way around. Oh, you never guess what your dad did to me last night. Oh, that doesn't feel good, does it? Even the thought of it. 0191 488 3188. Get your calls in. Now, in for a Penny? Yeah, Penny from Stockton is with us right now. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Alan. How you doing?
Hello, and good evening to you. I'm doing well, thank you kindly. What you got for us tonight then, Pen?
Alan, my mum was just a huge fan of yours.
Oh,
and I thought it'd be just wonderful for you to just give her a mention if you don't mind.
What's her name?
Her name was Vera Richardson.
Eva.
Vera.
Vera. Hello, Vera Richardson, and thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, V. Lovely to have you with us. Loyal, steadfast, and true. That's lovely.
Oh, wonderful. Well, like I say, she was a huge fan of yours, right, Alan? And,
Great.
I just remember she used to lie in bed, smoking her head off, laughing at you. I could hear her laughing. I'd go, what are you listening to? Oh, it's Alan on Night Owls.
Good.
Oh, she just loved you. She loved you to bits.
Good stuff.
So I just thought, I'd love to, get a message. And she lived at the west end of Newcastle, where you're from.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from the west end of Newcastle.
Uh-huh.
And she had some great tales, and I just wanted to get a mention of that, really.
Well, if she lived within like 15 miles around Benwell, is that kind of where she's from?
Pendower.
Pendower? That's in my range. She's very lucky not to have been snogged.
Yeah, just up from, it was called the Mitre.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Road.
I know, yeah, of course. Like Delaval Roadway.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, I know. That is definitely my patch. No question. She's very lucky to got away with it. There you go.
Oh, yeah, definitely. She had some, when I was thinking of the things she used to tell me, and I can't believe that one of the stories she told me, Alan, was she was a huge fan of Mario Lanza.
Oh, right, uh-huh.
And she told me she went to see him. He played at Newcastle City Hall
yes.
in 1950s.
Blimey.
And she said, we got the train and went to the hotel, and he stood on the balcony. I think it was the county hotel.
Right.
He stood on the balcony of the hotel, and he sang. And she said, people were saying they could hear him from the Gallagher.
Oh, I could believe it. Absolutely. Had a hell of a voice.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, his voice. If people of my generation, your generation, we've heard of people like Pavarotti and that kind of thing, and how fierce and loud his voice was. He didn't need a microphone, and yet he could fill an arena and all this kind of stuff. Mario Lanza was that kind of class singer. It was never my taste, a bit before my time. But I know a lot of people. I've got a weird... Do you want to hear a weird story about Mario Lanza? Just for V, for your mum.
Okay, yes, please.
Woman comes on... beg your pardon. Man comes on. He's just lost his wife. Now, on Night Owls, back at the time that this was, I used to play... It was vinyl days, when there were records, not CDs or anything digital. It was old school time. And Night Owls over the years has become synonymous with weird, odd, peculiar, haunty. It's got an edge to it. And it comes from stuff like this. The guy came on and he said, Alan, I'd love you to play a piece of music for me. Now, obviously, I didn't know this guy was going to come on. He was just the next caller in line, picked him up. Hi, what's your name? I would love you to play a piece of music for me. And I said, yeah, what's up? And he said, yesterday, my wife died. And he just collapsed and he was crying and he was very, very upset. And he said, she promised me that if ever she left before I did, that she'd come back and she'd let me know that she's all right. And I've waited since yesterday afternoon at 2:00 when she passed. I've waited for a sign and there's been nothing. And I'm devastated. And I said, okay, well, if I can do anything to help, of course I will. And I asked if he needed help or counselling or, can we ring a friend to get them round there? I don't want that. I just want a sign. I want a sign from my wife so that I know she's all right because I've always looked after her. And he was sobbing, bless him. I said, what piece of music would you like me to play? And he said, I want you to play I'll Walk with God by Mario Lanza. And it was one of his big songs. Now, I had never played Mario Lanza ever on the show. And I'd been on the show for probably about 10 years at the time. Now, on the turntable right next to me, already set, ready to play, was I'll Walk with God by Mario Lanza. It was already set up, ready to play, because somebody had requested it about 3 weeks earlier, and it was there to play. Now, there's no kind of coincidence possible other than there was a bit of a nudge on the other side from his missus. And I says, you'll not believe this. It's already ready to go. And I said, what's the name of your wife? He says, what? It's on the turntable now. How? Did you know? And I said, I didn't know. I didn't know. And I played it, and I kept him on air till afterwards to make sure he was all right. He was sobbing his heart out, but he was happy. There, you see, she sent me a message. I've got a message. And he just filled with pride, and he was laughing and giggling. And you've never seen a bigger change. 3 minutes 41, I think it was. And at the end of it, from absolutely devastated to overjoyed, it was a beautiful thing to see. And that's my Mario Lanza memory. It wasn't about him being on the planet, because I don't remember him at all, but just an amazing story about a song of his. So that's just a memory for you, Vera. There you go.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Penny. All the best. Thanks for calling.
No problem. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So there is Penny and our mum, Vera Stevenson. And I might as well play a greatest hit, as that's what we do here. What you need is a thumpy beat. What is it that we're all absolutely into? Well, it's a bit of the lovey-dovey. Right, the thing that you're staring at is the steeple of St. Mary's Church here in Acklam. Some people call it West Acklam. Other people call it the Church of Middlesbrough. We're here on Teesside, and the original church that stood here, that had one priest, just one priest, goes back to the Domesday Book of 1098, which is incredible story. Now, this one here, 1874, this was built, and it's a beautiful church, but it's very much of its time. And when this was built, because the old church, now imagine you've had a church here since the Domesday Book. Why would you knock it down? I mean, why? Yeah. But the Hustler family that own the hall, that is our main target, Acklam Hall, where we've just been, the Hustler family decided they wanted a more modern church. They thought having an old church wasn't a good thing. I think it's a great thing. However, they knocked it down. Now, there was a huge furore, as furores go. All of the locals complained, protested. The Hustler family owned the ground it was on, so they could basically do what they liked. And they built this church instead. But a woman called Anne Lee, at least 2 times, had gone to the authorities and said this should be built. Now, Anne Lee was a sorceress or a witch, and she was Romany from a family of travelers. And she had 11 generations of her family in here. Now, it's a small churchyard. It was a little bit bigger. It did used to go way over there. 11 generations of her family. So she said to the Hustler family, may the dead rise from their graves to curse you and your family for disturbing the sleep of the dead. This curse will last for all time, and it is now written in Romany law, L-O-R-E, law. So this is a cursed churchyard to start with. So we're going to have a quick look around it now. Hopefully, keep your eyes peeled. If you see anything, scan it, tell us. And remember, share.
This is the supporters bit.
Oh, it's the supporters bit. Sorry, I should shut up.
So, we could do the necro, because we haven't done that yet in the show, even though...
Well, no, we haven't.
And I can shine our new laser.
Yes, absolutely. We have a new laser gadget that may show something up. So check it out. We're going to have a look around here. I'm going to necromance just a tad. And there's a story of this place that is very, very strange, because this is one of the few places anywhere that has a story of a ghost baby attached to it. Right? So let's make our way. See what we can do. Now it's small here, but it's busy, and we can feel stuff.
You haven't got your little speaker, which is very low for this mic. Can't
I
hear
haven't
it.
got the speaker.
Oh, it's not going to pick up on this mic, that's
It's back
all.
at the ranch. Okay, well, stop it. We'll use the Rabancer a bit later on. We've actually got to watch out here, because there's a couple of interesting stories attached to it, but the ghost baby is the most interesting. If you've seen this grave here, it's amazing. Charles Lothian Bell, 1835 to 1906. Helen, his wife, is here too. She died in 1915. Hustler. Oh, you're kidding me. That's the ghost of the hall?
No.
100%.
872. Thomas Hustler died June 30th, 1874, 1872.
1873, that's Charlotte. Oh my God. This is the lady who haunts Acklam Hall.
When are you?
No, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't, because the Charlotte we're looking for died in 1800. So this is her granddaughter.
When I awake up after thy likeness, I shall be satisfied with it.
There's also a scribe on the bottom as well that I can't make out.
Looks like there's someone looking over the grave there.
Where?
On this camera. No, I was looking on the camera.
What?
Kenny shines his light up again.
Except
Behind the
ye
grave.
be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter with thy. Oh God, I can't see that.
Do you want to explain why the dots are on the screen?
This is Charlotte's daughter.
With thy God of heaven.
This is Charlotte.
Is that who it is?
It's Charlotte. This is Charlotte now.
Right.
The ghost story I told you a little bit earlier on. The Charlotte that haunts the staircase is the mother of little Charlotte. Now, when she died just after bearing Charlotte. When she died, she wanted the child to be called Rose, and one of the windows in Acklam Hall is called the Rose window. She wanted the child called Rose, but after hemorrhaging, dying, and falling down the stairs to her death, the family thought, well, we can't call the child Rose. We'll name it after Charlotte. Because if you look at the date, she's 72. She died in 1873, which would mean she was born on 1880, which is when Charlotte died. It absolutely fits.
Of course it does.
So they renamed the child Rose Charlotte.
And this is Richard Hustler.
And she married Thomas Hustler.
Well, the one behind.
There was 2 children.
There, look, is it? There, oh, it's William Hustler.
That's 1927. That's grandchildren. Years on. Wow. I mean, finding the child that inadvertently cost Charlotte her life is amazing. Amazing. I know you're having difficulty hearing, but I think I've got to try the necromancer here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just do this, Mike.
I will absolutely do that.
With our new laser.
What can you see?
Me.
Oh, someone's whispering there.
Charlotte. Charlotte. Are you here, Charlotte?
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
There really are so many reasons why you should ring in. Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden said his favourite album, Rainbow Rising, Corkin album that is too. The Hippie Green is going to be paved over in a huge redesign. How do you feel about that? That's in Newcastle. Funerals should be happy occasions. They should be celebrations instead of the maudlin things they are now. Why can't scientists and politicians admit they screwed up over COVID, says somebody. The EU signs a huge deal with America to keep European gas prices down, and we will end up paying 4 times the amount for our petrol. And next Sunday, something of interest to you. Make sure that you're listening next week. A lot to tell you. We will do that then. However, Nikki's with us from Darlington. Hello, Nikki.
Hiya, yeah, right.
Good, love. What can we do for you?
I'm ringing up just to talk about mental health, well, the importance of mental health awareness.
Right.
And suicide prevention. After losing my best friend in 2015 to suicide, I got help from an amazing charity based in Chesley Street called the If You Care Share Foundation.
Right.
They really helped me deal with it. And I realised that during the pandemic that mental health had become as big a killer as COVID, because obviously so many people were isolated, couldn't talk to anybody. And I did a bit of research, realised that we have the highest rate of suicide in the whole of the UK and the northeast of England. Majority of them are men from the ages of 18 to 55.
Right.
So I realised I had to do something. I'm a postie, and I'm actually a postie for Royal Mail in Richmond in North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And I realised that kindness is free. So a hello and a smile can make a massive difference to somebody.
For sure.
So I go out my way now to make sure I speak to everybody. When I leave a parcel for somebody, I always put a little note on to make them feel good about themselves. And I decided that I had to do something to really advocate mental health awareness. So I'm doing 10 million steps in a year.
Whoa. Now, I always thought that posties did that anyway, but 10 million? I mean, that's a lot of steps. Have you worked out how many you do across a week?
Well, to achieve it in a year, I've got to do 30,000 a day. Now, I don't always do that, so I'm going to have to do extra steps, lots of extra steps.
Cheapers? Really?
I'm running the Great North. Yeah, I'm running the Great North Run.
Oh, brilliant! Great, I'll see you there.
So, and I realised that we need to do something, and as people, we can do something about it because kindness is nothing. It doesn't take anything out of your day to say hello to somebody, and you might be the only person that person speaks to for days.
For sure.
And at that moment in time, you could change their life forever. You could stop them doing something that is irreversible.
It might be just enough for them to realise that there is something worth living for. I'm more worried about you at the moment, Nikki, because I know that you posties are busy, and I know how much walking you do, because let's face it, doesn't matter if you get a van to an estate, you're still on foot for every house in that street, or sometimes every house on that estate. You must do a lot of walking. Surely when you get home, you're putting your feet in one of those revitive things that Eamon Holmes keeps banging on about.
No, I wish I did. No, not at all. I generally can't keep still, so I end up still busy. But I sort of constantly campaign and constantly tell everyone about mental health.
It's a wonderful thing. You lost your friend. What was at the root of the reason why she did something so daft? Because it's a horrible thing.
He was a really popular teacher
right
in Darlington, and he just couldn't see a life past anxiety and depression anymore. And he took his life.
Because, we talked a lot about mental health. 30, 40 years ago, I started talking about it on this show when it certainly wasn't the popular thing to do, and everybody thought you were...
Still isn't. It's still a stigma
what
to
you're
it.
talking about that for. But even back then, I was of the belief, as I still am, that this can happen to anybody. And if anything proves that, he has a really popular teacher, beloved of the people that he teaches, with a huge talent, and you would imagine life really going for him. And I know heartbreaking personal things just overwhelm you at times, but blimey, if it can happen to him, it can happen to anybody.
It can do, and that I said, the If You Care Share Foundation were absolutely categorically what I needed to help me get over it. And they do so much for suicide prevention, but they also do the aftermath of helping people because it's like a grenade going off in people's lives.
For sure.
It rips families apart.
Yeah. I've seen it many, many times. And yet the thing that I think people are reluctant even to raise money for and I love organisations like Mind because they do a blitzingly good job. The one in Chester Street that you mentioned has had a lot of people mention it to me to say how good a job they do.
They really are, yeah. And
but
they're a little charity.
We need more of them, and because obviously Chester is in the middle of, in between Tyneside and Wearside, so it's in a good position.
They cover all over
to snaggle a lot. Yeah, but I'm talking Scottish borders, Cumbria. There's an awful lot of people that need that kind of help.
God, throughout the whole country.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And literally in the pandemic, it was just so much worse.
No, because everybody closed down pretty much, and people weren't coming out to help.
And the winter, the second lockdown was worse because people couldn't go out in the gardens and talk to people walking past.
I think it was badly handled because now scientists are saying, we maybe didn't need to be apart so much because this would have run its course anyway. And you think we're a bit late now for all those people that we've lost during that period.
It is, and it's awful. When you look at the statistics of how many people have jumped off the Tyne Bridge, something needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 10 million steps, blimey.
10 million steps in a year, yeah.
You're going to have to oil your legs every morning when you get up after that, definitely. I tell you. Hey, well, love to you, Nikki. Thank you very much. If people want to follow your progress or help in any way, how do they find out more about it?
If you check out the Tees Valley Live, I was in an article on there. Just tap in Nikki Gaynor into the internet and it'll come up, and all the links are there if they want to follow the links. And
that's brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Nikki. All the best. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, darling. Bye-bye. How good is that? I think we're going to take a very swift break, and then we're talking to Faye. And I think it's not just about her mother. I think it's about her nana as well.
Greatest Hits Radio.
What a find.
That's the first one I went.
But it fits absolutely with the story. And I'll tell the full story, obviously, earlier. Aye. Sounds like it. It's very quiet tonight. We've got a lot to see.
Shame we can't go through that.
It can't.
Yeah, but we're going to have to go around.
Yeah.
Just tried it.
This whole area that we're in is incredible. It's incredible. And when we get around the front, I'll tell you more. But let's head there now. This is a flying visit outside because we love doing our outdoor things. I know, amazing. John Robert. Now there's a grave in this churchyard. I know we haven't found it. We haven't really got time to go around all of them. But proves a ghost story. Now, in a church magazine.
Is it odd grave with a little stick, like a little... No. There. That's weird. Isn't it?
Let's tell you this story though, Kenny, because it's a corker. Cool. There's very rare baby ghost stories.
Very rare, yeah.
And a man called Richard Bell used to have lots of affairs with women of ill repute.
Right.
And he also took advantage of young children in the village, here or hereabouts. And he got a 14-year-old girl pregnant. Now, back in those days, you could marry at 12. Oh, God. But he got a 14-year-old pregnant. And his wife, Elizabeth, got to find out about it. And Elizabeth said, look, I'll take the child on as my own.
Right.
But you must not have this young girl in your life. So you've got to give her some money, get her out of the parish. So he gave this girl some money and sent her off to Durham. She moved to Durham City, started a new life, did whatever she was going to do, leaving Elizabeth with this baby that was about 6-7 months old.
Right.
She hated the baby. She hated the baby. And a couple of days later, Richard comes home and says, I've got something to tell you. It's about little George Bell. They named it George, the baby George. Got to tell you about little George. George died today. And Richard went, but he was completely healthy. What happened? And she said, he just started choking. And I tried to revive him. I tried to get the food out of his mouth, but he just died. Now, all across the child's shoulders and neck were red bruises and marks. So it looks like that she choked the baby to death. Now, this was in a church magazine. Now, that's a rarity in itself to have something that graphic in a church magazine, because they're normally, especially back then, they were normally light.
Yeah.
However, I go onto the website
with the voice of the North. Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, don't forget, giving you a chance to work out a bit of a daft competition that we have. We used to do a thing called a What's It that everybody had to whip out the What's It. Now they've got to whip out their Who's It. Who's Hits? I'm going to give you 4 clues. Each clue, the answer is the name of a song. You've got to put 4 songs together and tell me whose hits. Okay? Whose hits? First clue comes up in about 50 minutes, so get ready. Meanwhile, we have Faye, which I seem to remember was a classic hit for Clifford T. Ward back in the day. And Faye is in Gateshead. Hello, Faye.
Hi, Alan. Hello.
Hello there. Evening. What can we do for you, Faye?
All I would like to do is say Happy Mother's Day to my mum and my nana, and thanks to my nana for doing everything she has done for me throughout my life.
Wow. That's a big shout. What's their names? Come on, name them with pride, Faye.
Alison and Renee. She used to be a greeter at Asda and Gateshead.
Right.
She worked there for a very long time, but I want to just come tell you about a story about my nana.
Oh, go on.
We went to Turkey. It was about 10 years ago. We got on a quad bike. She turned around and said, "Oh, I'll get one of these when I get home." We went around the corner and she hit a tree.
Oh, right.
With us both on it, it looked like we're out of scene of this, like Thriller, you know, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Really? Oh,
Yeah. I was like, this is the end of this.
Yeah, I was going to say, when she gets home, there ain't no quad bike coming, that's for sure. So, I mean,
No.
you want to look your best on holiday as well. So, oh, what a shame.
It was funny, though.
Brilliant. And what's so special about your mum as well? What's the best about your mummy?
My mum's just my mum. She's always there for us. We've had our ups and downs, but I love her with all my heart. And I'm just so grateful for the way she shares with my little boy. He's only 2, but she's a great nana to him.
Brilliant. It sounds like you got a good lot. The thing about, we've had our ups and downs, that's just being a family, because that happens to everybody. And usually you can get over it, and other times you've just got to chunt under your breath and make sure they don't hear you. That's
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love my mum and I love my nana. I'm so grateful for what they've both done for me throughout my life.
That's amazing. I mean, what happened with the Ben? Because she says you got a 2-year-old. Did you send yourself a Mother's Day card from the Ben?
No, my partner bought me some stuff, and my nana actually even bought me some stuff.
That's nice, because you're a mummy now, you see. So you're in the club, so to speak. Because you're in the club because you've been in the club. That's how it works, apparently. No, that's brilliant.
My little boy's, he's a handful at the minute because he's in the 2-year-old stage.
The terrible
So
twos.
today we went for a meal, and he decided, sitting in the high chair, to chuck food at other little boys, and looked at them and said, "Ha ha." I was like, oh.
Yeah, I went with a friend of mine, and she's had a 2-year-old. And it was one of those restaurants where when you get in, if you've got a little one, they give piece of paper with crayons and stuff. And, just like a picture to colour in kind of thing.
Wow.
Like a pizza restaurant we were in. And they said, let the Ben do that. Well, not interested at all. Just wanted to stand up facing the booth behind, waving and pulling the hair of the woman sitting there. And then halfway through the meal, he wanted to go under the table and fought to get under the table. And when he got under the table, he was trying to take his pants off. And I don't know whether he wanted to poo or whether to wee, but I have not been for a meal with a 2-year-old since, nor do I have any plans anytime soon. So I've got an idea of what you've got to put up with on a day-to-day. Why is it when you're 2? I would have thought you 2-year-old, you're not capable of doing too much, apart from devastating everything around
you. They're just little pranksters when they're that age. You're like, what can I do now?
You ever thought of getting one of those cages that you get for dogs?
That's a good idea. Sitting there.
Yeah, and just chuck them bits of food every now and then. That'll do.
Yeah, have some food.
Hey, good talking to you. Thanks for coming on, Faye.
Thank you, Alan.
Cheers, love.
You.
Bye-bye. And Scott's with us as well. Scott is from Stocksfield. Hiya, Scott.
Hi, you all right, Alan?
Yes, I'm champion. What are you talking about then, Scotty?
Well, I've been pushed into this by my girlfriend, talking about the McMillan night that we had in the boathouse in Wylam on Friday.
Right. Oh, wait. So what did she push you to do?
Well, the staff there decided that I was going to get my beard dyed green for McMillan cancer.
Right.
So we had a whip round for it, round the bar.
Right.
the staff were in a bit of a panic, so they didn't buy one of the washout dyes.
Oh.
So they bought a permanent one.
Oh, so it has to grow out then.
Yeah, but I've got my beard, my eyebrows, and my hair are all green. And I'm a ginger, so my eyebrows
I don't know.
And then he looks the same.
No, I can imagine. But when the ginger starts sprouting, that's gonna be weird, mind. Even when it grows out, this is gonna take you. Yeah, I don't know how long it takes for you to grow an eyebrow, but blimey, it's gonna be a while. Yes, love.
And do you know when you see like pictures of babies when they get like the eyebrows drawn on the faces and look like really weird?
Yeah.
That's what he looks like because his eyebrows are like white because he's ginger. He looks really odd. I can't look at him properly.
my eyebrows are normally, when the sun hits them, they're normally see-through, so people don't even see me with eyebrows. Right. But now I've got these bright green eyebrows.
Why green?
Because
for Macmillan.
Yeah.
I understand, absolutely. Oh, blimey, but we're talking about 6 to 8 months here, aren't we? For a full grow out?
I hope not.
So I'm just wondering, does everything match kind of from a hair point of view?
No. Because my hair's kind of like dark and ginger, and then my eyebrows are really light. And then my beard's like ginger and white. So my beard looks blue, my eyebrows look green, and my hair looks a different shade of green.
Well, to the lady that's there, because you're anonymous, so I don't need names. To the lady that's there, here's his next challenge. When you next go and talk to all the people in Macmillan, what he's got to do is he's got to do his lower body green as well. Because if he did, it would look like gooseberries, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's nice. Well, I got to the Metro Centre this morning, and I wouldn't even go with him. I made him walk ahead of us.
Yeah, good idea. It's brilliant. I love it. But hey, well, thanks for doing it all the same, because Macmillan, great cause, Macmillan. So that is tremendous. If we see anybody that looks decidedly dodgy, with eyebrows that you've described and green everywhere else, we'll know exactly who you are. But thanks for doing it, man. Good job. Well done.
Right, cheers,
mate. Bye-bye. How good is that? And they would look like gooseberries, wouldn't you? Just I'm thinking about it. 01914 488 3188. We have Anonymous in Gateshead next. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello, are you all right?
Yes, I'm good, love. What can we do for you?
I'm just wanting to know people's views on social services and things.
What's yours then?
Like all the corruption and things, how they can use like mental health against you, domestic abuse against you,
So what's happening, without naming names, please don't. What's happened to you in that regard then? Because there must be a story here.
Well, everything they've tried to use like me mental health against us, and
in what way though? How do they use it against you? Just explain, because I don't fully understand.
Well, I lost my children
right,
because of my mental health, and we had first childhood experience and things, and
right. And is there any chance of you getting your bairns back?
Well, I'm fighting, and this is what I want to get across to people. Speak up and tell the truth.
Right, but they've got to do that too.
Yeah, like domestic violence and all, like they took the children, so...
And was this because your partner was violent to you?
Yeah.
You see, what has often happened, because I remember I had somebody who was the head of the social services in the studio once, and this was a topic, people having their children, why can't I get my children back? And what I was told was that a lot of people who have a partner who's abusive to them will go to social services and say, yes, my boyfriend used to hit me, I called the police a few times on him, but I don't see him now. And then they would get the children back. And as soon as they got the children back, they'd bring the person who beat them back into their household, setting exactly the wrong example for any small children. So I kind of get it, because that has happened a lot, they say. How can you prove to them that that wouldn't be the case with you?
Well, I'm out of that situation now. I'm out of that situation now, so I'm moving forward.
Good on you. You just got to prove that, though. That's the thing. And as I say, if they've had a lot of this happening where, yes, I'm past it now. I've got a new life, and then
How can they use your mental health against you when they do these psychologist assessments on you?
So the mental health, was it
the discriminating the mental health?
Was the mental health issue the same one to do with the boyfriend, or was that separate?
It was like all in with the court, yeah.
Right.
Now I've had to go to a refuge, and they didn't offer us a place with the children.
Right. Oh, blimey. I understand. Right.
Yeah.
So they've got at you in three ways, really, haven't they?
Yeah, I just want to know what people's views are on the corruption of the social services.
Well, we'll get them right now. Anonymous, thank you for calling. We'll take any calls on this subject. Thank you for ringing in.
Thank you.
Good
no
luck
problem.
to you. Bye-bye. Tough. It's a real tough thing. Mental health, as soon as you say the word mental, you're already putting a picture in the heads of some people, when if you just said feeling a bit down, feeling low, unhappy, dissatisfied, all those things that we all feel, if you put a title to it, suddenly people judge you in a different way, and it's unfair. 0191 488 3188. Dave says, could we play a food track? No, is the swift answer for that. Would love to, but can't. In memory of Taylor Hawkins passing. Taylor was great. I was lucky enough to meet the band on a couple of occasions, and Taylor once, when he did a solo thing, and he was just a lovely man. And he'd be very, very sadly missed. Dave, good taste there, man. 0191 488 3188. Oh, good heavens, I've just seen what the next one says too. Pauline's just sent me a note. Mother's Day. My mum passed away this morning. She used to listen to Alan every night when my dad passed, and like so many night owls, was gutted when it came down just to one night. My mum's 90. Her name is Isabel. Love you loads, ma'am. And Pauline, and my love's with you, Pauline. And I truly believe with all of my heart that your mum's starting afresh, brand new, a great new adventure. And she's just starting it, and your dad may well be part of it too. I would love to think so. I wish her the best and easiest and most gentle journey. Every time I've regressed somebody back to a previous life, I always take them to the day they die. And every single person, whether they believed in any kind of God or deity, and I've done people who were obviously Christian, non-believers, a Buddhist, several Muslims, several Jewish people, a couple of Taoists, and in every single case, the first thing that they say once they've died in a regression is the sense of peace, that all of the pain's gone, all of the pressures have gone, and suddenly they're free. And your mum's free now. I wish her well. Got to play a piece of music for everyone who has ever felt that awful feeling of the empty chair. First of all, let's talk to the band concerned. The Stars Come Out at Night. Got to play you a great song from Roxette. And here's the band talking about their starty bits.
So what was it about Marie that made you think, oh, hang on, this could work?
Well, she was a girl.
Good start.
She was, by far the most talented musician I ever met in those days, and still is, and
Right.
it's just, my band that I was in took off, and we had a great success domestically in Sweden for many years. And it wasn't until 86 when we really decided to do something together musically.
Right.
And in those days, Marie was working on a solo career, which was doing great as well. So
So it was a big gamble then for two people who were already successful in their own way to come together and try something.
Yeah, I remember people around me and the people I was working with when I was doing my solo work. They were very suspicious in the beginning. Oh, do you going to do that, sing in English, and start to work with Per? And so I really, I was very lonely in that decision, but I'm so happy that it worked out really well. And nowadays people say that I really think it's great, and they really love those songs.
And yet the first album that you did together wasn't the one that broke you in Britain and most of Europe. It was the second one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Family, and you'll find George Bell, 1-year-old, buried here. And it fits the date, 1773, it fits the time. George Bell, the child, is in here. And what they say is that late at night, you can hear sobbing, a baby crying, like it's teething almost. And George apparently is in a tiny little grave up against a wall.
It could be one of them.
It looks like it's, Crossier's favourite.
It is, isn't it? Could be any of these, couldn't it? Will it be named or not?
Well, it says so on the website.
It's a little grey.
Joseph William.
Bell.
I've seen a bell before. That was the big one.
You see, realistically, it could be that, Tony. Do you know what I mean? Could be anything here. Come on, we've got a lot to do. Let's head back.
Could be any of them.
Could be anything. But another amazing story that very few people know, and it's right here. Acklam Hall is literally just in front of this place. And when we say it's up against the wall, it could be any wall, though, Kenny. Do you know what I mean? Poor little George didn't get the chance to live. It's too early in the evening tonight for us to be able to expect to hear him. But in the distance, we've got Tees Valley Hospital. I think it's here we've got our leg over, isn't it?
If we go there,
Ow. Careful, this
it's taller than you think, isn't it?
Thorns. Behind on the damn thing. Aya. Good. Come on, then.
Right, try to get his face.
Yeah.
He's got a 2 ball on him.
Now, if we're going to go all the way down to the front of this property, on the way down, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Who did this land?
You need to be close to this mic as well for our stories.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Penny, can you light up where Tony's going as well? Who do you think this belonged to? All of this land. It belonged to a famous historical character. Who do you think?
Oh, God.
To be honest, you'd be hard pressed.
Not Peas by any chance, is it?
No. Very famous. Somebody whose name you've heard of probably 100,000 times in your life.
Are they from Teesside area?
No.
Newcastle?
No, further afield. This whole area of land around Acklam used to be ploughed fields, massive ploughed fields, providing no end of foodstuffs, usually grain, barley, the staples of life.
Yeah.
And this whole area was given to Robert the Bruce.
No.
It belonged. Now you got to remember, and we keep telling you this, so you'll never forget. What the? That was spooky voices. Did you hear that, Tony?
Yeah, I definitely heard something. I don't know what's over there.
It was like. That's just marshes, isn't it?
But that was like a witchy voice.
That's exactly what I heard. So anyway, come on down and I'll tell you the tale because I need to be close to you too. I know you just like me company, I understand. These used to be grain fields essentially, long before hospital. I went. But it's the state there, so that may be what we're hearing. Not from what we heard behind. Cheapest, look at this. And there it is. That's the edge of the hall. Again, we're heading back in. Acklam Hall. With a beautiful open gate. But this used to be just paddocks. Just where people grew stuff, so it had a value.
Right.
Now, do you remember in the William Wallace film, Braveheart, with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
There was a bit where Wallace was fighting with somebody and pulled his helmet off, and it was Robert the Bruce.
Yeah.
Not Robert the Bruce.
No, the Bruce.
Robert de Bruce.
Right.
B-R-U-S. French, because
Right.
he was French.
Uh-huh.
Everybody goes, but he was Scottish. No, he wasn't. He was French. Robert de Bruce.
Right.
Now, Robert the Bruce was fighting for the English. Why? Are we going through it? Or?
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah. We love a funky game. This is cool. That's beautiful. So the reason he was fighting for the English was because the English promised him land in England. And the land they promised him was this. It was this big lump of Teesside, which wasn't even Teesside at the time. And because of that, Robert de Bruce fought on the English side. And later, of course, he would change sides and fight against the English successfully too. But this whole land belonged to Robert de Bruce, and it was called at the time Anclun, land of the Oaks.
Here's where I do the gig.
In Old English. And tell me, you gig here. What kind of gig was it?
We did a gig with loads of bands on, and would you believe I brought Courtney Hadwin from America's Got Talent on stage right there. One of our first ever gigs that she did, and she sang amazing, and we knew then she's going to be a superstar. We said, what a voice she's got.
And we know that she signed up to an American label who are coaching her along, so she's going to be a big name.
She's going to be massive, Courtney. She won, but she didn't win America's Got Talent. She got
if you've seen the gold buzzer, was it Cowell?
It was, I think it was, wasn't it, in America?
Yeah, it's always Cowell.
Yeah.
Well, the gold buzzer thing is massive. And for those of you that want to picture Courtney in your head, she sang the Black Crowes, the original version, Otis Redding song, Too Hot to Handle. And she did a brilliant job of it.
I've got the video still when she sang here. She was absolutely amazing. This whole car park was full of people.
And there is the hall, of course. Acklam Hall, amazing. Again, on the staircase, there is the rose window. And that is just a beautiful, beautiful bit of work. Built in 1680, and between 1680 and 1683. And in 1684, King Charles II came and stayed in there and created a bond with the Acklam Knights that would lead to incredible tales and a lot of the naughty mischief that I told you about before. But down here is a place. Sorry, Tony, you're away. Down here is a place that I must say has an incredible story attached to it too. Because if we're talking ghosts, what was the first ghost on this ground? Well, we'll never know of the time of the Bruce. But down here, I'm going to give you 4 clues. Each clue, the answer is a song title, and you've got to work out what 4 song titles, and then tell me whose greatest hits they were. The first clue, because we're talking about pets a bit, daft things about your pets. Your first clue is this: what you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. Okay, that's your first clue. What you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. What you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. Song title. See if you can work it out. 3 more clues to come, and then you've just got to tell me whose hits it was. And of course, then you will win yourself one of our near legendary, and we only have a very few left, of our Night Owls Cup hot, keeps it warm, keeps it cold thing. There you go. So you can have one of them. A keeps it hot, keeps it cold thing. And we're off to Ian now, who is in Newcastle upon Tyne. Hi, Ian.
Hello, Alan.
Hello. What are you talking about
Are you
tonight?
okay?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Good. I've got 2 short stories for you.
Brilliant.
First one is our grandson lives in Wales. His dad is Geordie.
Right.
And he met a Welsh girl and they ended up living in Wales.
Right. Great.
And they've got a 2-year-old grandson. So bear in mind that Wales, lots of little villages. So they used to live in a big old house which was built around about the turn of the century.
Right.
And in the kitchen, they even had like meat hooks on the ceiling. So it used to be used by the local manor house maybe for hunting game and hanging the game from the ceiling.
Wow, right.
So the 2-year-old used to keep on waking up, having nightmares. And he always used to wake up and point to the corner of the room. And they couldn't quite understand what was happening. So it was just a bit weird. So he kept on having these nightmares. And it was during lockdown. So this was when he used to be able to go out for half an hour's exercise a day.
Yeah.
So his dad used to take him for a walk. And as part of that walk, they used to pass a local graveyard because Wales has lots of little Welsh chapels and graveyards.
Sure.
So we drove past there loads of times and never been in.
Right.
And his dad had never been in. But on this one day, the young child pulled his father towards the entrance of the graveyard. So they thought, I better follow the child. So in they went. So most graveyards have like a central path and have graves to the left, graves to the right, maybe 4 or 5 deep each side going off this path. So the child actually, or the young kid actually pulled his dad off the path direct to a grave, and he said, "That's the man," and pointed to the gravestone. So this is a 2-year-old pointing to the gravestone saying, "That is the man." And basically his dad read the gravestone, and we went maybe 4 months after the event to have a look, and the kid actually went directly to the gravestone of the person who lived in the house and died in the house in 1957.
What is the chances of that? What is that?
So
how old's
that was
the
really
Ben?
spooky.
How old is he?
The Ben was 2 at the time.
2. And he guides you to the grave of the man who... That's impossible. Amazing story. That's tremendous.
It's a definite true story.
Yeah.
Not something you would make up.
No, and it's also the kind of thing that's going to make you look at the Ben for the next couple of months like he's Damien out the Omen. Do you know what I mean? Can I get you anything?
Luckily, they've moved house since then, but we do drive past the house still.
What a great story, though. You said you had 2. What was the second one in here?
The second one was when you're talking about pet peeves.
Oh, yeah. What's yours?
So, first cat we had, unfortunately, he had cancer, so ended up getting buried in the bottom of the garden.
Right.
And then during lockdown, we thought, should we get another cat or not? So we're humming and hawing, and eventually, after much tribulation, we thought we'll try and get another one. So went to the cat and dog shelter and managed to get another cat.
Right.
Obviously, when you get a new cat, you have to keep them in the house for a certain number of weeks.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So the very first time the cat went out, thought, oh, will he come back or not? So we'll risk it. So he went out, didn't come back for about 3 hours. We kept on going out the front of the house, calling him, no sign of him. Went out of the back of the house, calling him, no sign. Then eventually the missus was getting a bit worried. So she went down to the bottom of the garden, went where the previous cats buried, and said, "Your little brother's gone out. There's no sign of him. Can you get him back?" And about 5 minutes later, new cat came trotting back up the garden and into the house.
That's weird again. What a great story. Fabulous. That's
So
great.
those. I mean, the new cat is obviously a bit of a strange cat because you'll actually go to the back door and you want to go out.
Yeah.
You let him out, and then about 30 seconds later, you'll go to the kitchen window and he's hovering on the kitchen window, looking in, trying to come back.
And yet, if you hadn't let him out, he'd have been playing to get out as quick as he could there. The thing about cats that I've noticed is they are fascinating things. And I used to have 2 cats, and one of them went missing. It just didn't come back. And you think, could a car have hit him? Could a dog have got him? Has he been found by another family who's decided that's a nice cat, I'll have him? Or has something really nasty happened to him? And you think the worst. And he was away for about a week and 4 days. And I thought he was gone completely. And I let the other cat out, and he disappeared, and he was gone for about 4 hours. And I thought, oh, here we go. I've lost both of them now. And then about 4.5 hours later, the first cat comes back. He'd gone out, found the other cat, and brought the cat back. And you're thinking, how? Just weird. I think cats have a kind of different way of looking at the world. And when you say, I called for him and he didn't come, that's every cat.
Well, not necessarily, because the first cat, again, was a rescue cat.
All right.
Yeah. There was people over the road, and they got invited to the same evening do. We went for somebody's wedding.
Right.
We were having small talk with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy started talking about the cat, and we said, well, how do you know our cat? And he said, well, every day you open the door and you shout his name.
Right.
So he
right.
said everybody in the street knew the cat. And it's like the people on the corner, 2 years after the cat died, they used to say, how's the cat? Well, I'm sorry he died. But they said, he used to be so polite. He used to come into our garden when we were having the barbecue, and he just used to sit there looking at you, and you wouldn't take any food off the barbecue. You'd wait until you said to him, do you want the sausage?
Right. It's terribly polite cats. Nice job. There's the Carry On films?
Yes.
There's one Carry On film called Carry On Loving. It was never a particularly big hit, but there's a line in it that I thought was really funny. And do you know when you're watching a film and you're not particularly enjoying it, then somebody says something that just makes you burst? It was one of those lines, and it's I can't remember the actor that mentions it. Suzanne Danielle, I think, is the actress. And they said, what do you call your cat? And what do you call the person's cat next door? And the girl says, I think it's called cooking fat. He says, cooking fat? He says, well, at least that's what I think he shouts at it a lot during the day. And of course, we all get what it meant, but just in a movie and like in a Carry On, you're not used to any reference to like an Effie. Do you know what I mean? So it came as a bit of a surprise, but that's probably right. Anything else while you're on then, Ian? They were great. Thank you for both of those.
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Tremendous. Great job. How about it? First of all, you've got a dead cat sending his spirit out to return the lost cat. And prior to that, an amazing story of a 2-year-old taking his dad to the grave of the man who died in their house, the ghost that the child had been seeing. Wow. Great story. 01914883188. Or you can, of course, WhatsApp us and we'll ring you back. 07863 431 837. Just leave a message and we will get to you as quick as we possibly can. We're off to Ellington now. As you know, as you've heard in a couple of previous shows, Adam's brother has been back and forth from the Ukrainian border doing whatever he could. Adam's back on to give us an update. Hi, Adam.
Hi.
Hello. So what's happening then?
Hi, Alan.
Hi.
Basically, he's been going back and forwards from the Ukrainian border, basically helping out refugees that are fleeing the country.
Yeah. Has he noticed a change in how things are happening or the demeanour of those getting across the border?
Yeah, he's noticed quite a few things. There's been a lot that's happened, and he's managed to get 100 people over to Germany with a bus.
Brilliant.
So he's managed to raise 11,000 euros.
Great, that's tremendous work.
And he's also managed to house 50 people so far. So he's still got quite a lot to do. But within a week, he managed to house 50 people, and he's housed himself 6 people in his own house. So he's managed to nice. House most of them, and he's willing to house a few more if possible.
That's great.
I did mention that the UK does something similar, but offers £350 to house someone from the Ukraine.
Yes.
I mentioned that to him, and he said, "No, that's not much." So he straight away replied by saying, "Actually, that's quite a low amount, because they must get a lot more over there to basically look after their social well-being over in Germany." So it's quite interesting.
No, it is, because we never know how the things that we charge and the things that we're given. We never know how we compare, because nobody ever really compares them, if you know what I mean. So this is a way of finding out. Obviously, in Germany, they give people coming over as refugees a bigger amount of money. Interesting. Because you'll know yourself that in Britain, you get people who believe that nobody should come in this country and be helped at all. We give them houses, we give them money, we give them this, we give them that. And if you just look at where they're coming from, for heaven's sake, imagine you had to leave all of your clothes, all of your furniture, everything you've worked for behind, and you don't know whether it's going to be there if and when you get the chance to go back. It's a horrific mess. So whatever they can get, I've got no qualms about that at all. None at all.
Yeah, I mean, the system in Germany is very organized. Basically, they have now application forms that can be filled in. Financial help is provided by the authorities. And he basically informs people through social media how to apply to allow someone to live in your own home, how to apply, because you can't just say, "Oh yeah, you could come in, feel free to just set up." And no, you need certain things. You need an extra room, you need a shower or a bath or some extra facilities. It's important to give them some privacy as well.
Sure, of course. But you got to remember that at the very beginning of a refugee's journey to try and escape whatever horrors they're running away from, a lot of these people have been, living literally in the countryside to try and get away, or they're stuffed in somewhere like an old church hall where they're sleeping on the floor with 40 or 50 other families. They deserve their dignity, because they're the same as we are in every way. In every way. And people don't realize that sometimes. I think the majority do, but the dummies don't. So what's the next step for your brother then, Adam?
Well, he's trying to arrange the rest of the refugees that he's got. He's trying to arrange the housing for them as well. But he's been quite ill recently. He's been suffering himself of mental health problems as well, because the amount of information that he took in while he was over there, because he went to Medica for a while, he slept in his car, he basically brought loads of food over from Germany to help these people. He slept in his car at times because he didn't have donations coming in straight away. So he was trying to do whatever he can to help people where he can. But then he bought them power banks and all that other stuff to help them out, because people wanted to still stay in touch with their families in the Ukraine.
Sure.
And it was quite emotional for him, because they came along with their stories and they showed him pictures. And Alan, I just feel sick when I hear it as well, because he mentions it to me, and it makes my stomach turn when he mentions it, and I've got kids, and I don't really like to hear it, and I don't think many people like to hear the stories as well. I think there's a lot of people out there who just now want to just turn the blind eye, but it's happening on our doorstep. It's happening right now.
It's awful.
And
It's awful.
and he says, well, he says basically, I've seen a picture, I've seen soldiers in pieces. You know, the Ukrainians were making pictures of the soldiers, the Russian soldiers, as well as Ukrainian soldiers, lying there in pieces, and kids as well. You know, and it's horrific, and it's affected them mentally.
Not surprised.
But he's still trying to help these people. He's off work for a while.
Right.
But he's managed to get some time off work to get these people a home, as well as look after his own health.
But
you can see it in his eyes. I mean, if you go on his Facebook site, it's Nick Rendell, NickRendell. You know, Nick basically, yeah, you can see it in his eyes how he feels. You can see how he looks. He's not very well at all. Yeah,
I can see it.
And having to cope with all that. Yeah.
Well, thanks again for getting back in touch, Adam. Appreciate your time. Wish him well for us.
No
Thank
problem.
you for calling.
Thank you very much, Alan.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. 0191 488 3188. And, of course, we heard today one of the big stories, the lady that came forward, gang raped by numerous soldiers in front of her own children, the horrors of war. And it's said that certain armies throughout history, the Russians were said to have done this during World War II, depending who you listen to. And it was a tactic of terror to use rape as a weapon against the populace who were terrified of the people coming in. You would think that the people of the Ukraine supposed to be, part of the Russian family, as it were. Or they were. I don't think that's going to be the case ever again. 0191 488 3188. Time for a piece of music, and it's an absolute Bobby Dazzler. But first, let's talk to the person who's singing it, Rod Stewart. I think the biggest job you've got is singing everybody's favourites. It's got to be absolutely impossible because...
Yeah, it is. It is. I get so many letters. But we played a show at Hyde Park where we put all the songs in. There was no Maggie May. There was no I Don't Want to Talk About It, Sexy, Hot Legs, or Tonight's the Night. Right. We played all the songs that I don't usually play. Right. It's what I called a bench performance, all the players that don't get on the field.
Right. And yet, if you
in football parlance,
absolutely, and you know that better than anybody. My goodness, I can't think of anybody else who's delivered as consistently as you, right up to the present day, where people would be thinking, when was Rod's height? I couldn't put my finger on it because you're as big now as you've ever been.
Yeah, this is for me. This is a wonderful period to be alive because it is a rebirth, and
right.
I think I've got the best fan base in the world. They really are tremendous, my fans. Right. I don't like to call them fans. It's so impersonal.
Friends,
they're my mates.
Yeah,
friends,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Little bridge, some ponds. That's how it was. How it is now, I think they've got it decked out as like an ornamental river for Acklam Hall, really, because it's on the Acklam land. This is all Acklam Hall's land. But if you head down here, back in the early days, there used to be a pub here called the White Ship. Not a pub, an inn, a tavern, and this is where it was. It could have been anywhere around here, but it said it was amongst the ponds. Just seems to be the duck, isn't it?
Ducks?
I just see them moving there. But look at this. This is beautiful. I don't know if a lot of people. You can come down here and have a look. Yeah. Hello, ducks. I know what this is.
It's swimming around there, right? Okay, there they are. There's loads in there. Nature watch again.
They're all hiding.
I love the fact that a safety thing. You take a take.
Somebody's hiding in.
There's the ducks, look.
The White Ship, though, is the name of the place that used to be here. And on the ground of the public house, there's the story.
Have you seen the duck story?
It's a tiny bit on the screen. I'm sure people can see them on the big screen.
Right in front of the ponds, as they call them. I presume they've redone the ponds, and this is it. But a man called Robert Malley came down to the White Ship, and when he got to the White Ship, he says, "I'm here to pick up my son. You said he was here." Now, the landlord said, "Your son is here, but something terrible has happened." They took him into a back room where doxies or prostitutes used to be. The ducks are going crazy. They said, "I've come for my son. He's upstairs." So the father knew he'd been with some ladies of the night. And when they got upstairs, he was lying naked, sprawled across a bed, dead. And he said, "Did one of these whores kill my son?" No. He was well after she left. He had 2 more tankards of rum. And he's dead. He'd overindulged to such an extent that he'd taken his own life. You know, because alcohol is a poison. I know people don't realise it, but alcohol's a poison. So, that's right there. Look at that. Spoiling the night in tonight. So anyway, so there's this young boy, Charles Malley, sprawled out dead. The father picks him up and carries him away from the pub that was here down into Acklam, which is that way.
There's a voice there. That was definitely a voice. There was definitely a voice there.
That's a duck. Good duck. They're not happy with us. Let's leave the ducks in peace and head back to the hole. With the around here, one of the North's earliest ever ghost stories.
Really?
Because we're going back 1200s, right? 1200s. The White Ship Inn Tavern. The ghost of Charles remained at the hall and kept travelling around this area. It can sometimes be seen near where the pub was, and we believe next to the ponds. So Charles is here somewhere. Worth keeping your eyes open for. We might have just heard him.
Well, there's definitely a voice there.
Just you can't come out to a place with stories like this and not dive in. But we've got a whole host of oddities left in the hall.
Use the SLS camera here.
Well, we may have time to do it. Let's see. Let's get as much done as we can. Right, everybody. So we've upset the ducks enough. We've heard a few voices. Let's get back in. We've got traps to set. We've got rooms to fill. We're getting the most haunted rooms to check. Now, we do know that the restaurant's going to be open for about another hour, but we're not going to be too close to that. So let's head in. Imagine living in a place like that. Look at that. Light it up for everyone's pointing.
Voices?
We live close enough to town, but unless people are screaming, we shouldn't be hearing them. And that's where we are.
You know, there's probably a lot of people who haven't even heard of Acklam Hall before, because before I come to do any gigs here, I've never heard of it.
Acklam Hall?
Yeah.
It used to be a school.
Right.
It was a school for a while. It was Acklam Hall Grammar School. And I must say they've turned it into a beautiful place.
Well-known comedian, really pretty good.
Young seaside comedian.
Yeah.
Similar name. It's not Donahue. Is it not? No.
I know who it is. Great. Dead funny. Yes. Very close to the border. Funny. Check the upstairs window, Kenny. Yeah.
Oh, what's going on there? They just closed the curtains. Have they? It just looked like they closed. So did I.
It's convinced that window. There. There's something moved in there.
And that's what I saw.
The right-hand window at the bottom.
Well, I just thought that whoever's there has probably seen our light.
No, the curtains haven't closed. Look.
No. Well, the first floor is the one that's most haunted, apparently. And of course, around here there's beautiful gardens with a place. You can't go through the front door. We're officially staffed. So, come on in. Let's get cracking.
Pose. No. It used to pull out.
Kenny, can you go and set? These aren't happening, mate. Have you got to switch
You've got to switch them on.
All right. Okay, so there's two.
Right.
And there's
Glenn
Red and
Ted.
Supernatural Ted. You know that big L-shaped room? The most haunted one?
Yeah.
That's where to put it.
Cool.
But we're in here first. You come and join us, Johnny. Campbell's block.
Radio. You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, there's a project that I'm involved with that I could use your help with if you happen to have tarpaulins, like waterproof tarpaulins. I need about 3 of them, 10-foot square, and some metal pegs, the kind to hold metallic sheds or buildings to the ground. If anybody has such a thing that you're not using, please let me know, because I'd be very, very interested indeed. So tarpaulins, metal pegs, but there must be complete, not full of holes, if you know what I mean. So metal pegs to hold a building down, and tarpaulins, if you have such a thing. Thank you very much. Do let me know. Give us a call. 0191 488 3188. Chris, pass on all the details if there are any. So thank you for that. Let's crack on. Now, you've got your first clue. 4 clues, and remember that each answer is a song title. Your first clue is what you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. What song title answers that? 3 more clues to come, and Linda is with us, and she's in Westerhope. Hello, Linda.
Good evening.
Hello. What can we do for you, Linda?
You had asked to put the last photograph on my phone.
Yeah. What's your last one then, Linda?
We managed to see my mum in the home today.
Right.
It's in Cuthbert's Care Home on
Right.
the West Road.
Yes, know it.
And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She was so pleased to see us.
That's lovely.
My sister, myself, my daughter, my niece, and my grandson, my nephew, was there, who has Down syndrome, and he's never seen his nana for 3 years.
Oh my goodness, that was fantastic.
So,
Special day.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I bet you're still buzzing with it, Linda.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, it was just so nice, so nice. The home had laid an afternoon tea on for the residents, which they're absolute. I can't thank them enough.
That's great.
They've been absolutely fantastic through all of this.
Right, and they've had. I know the National Health Service in general have been thanked and applauded and all that kind of stuff, but the people have been literally trapped in care homes because they're the only people in, they're the only people out, and it's been a nightmare for them. So our sincere thanks to the hard work that they've put in, because they've been diamonds, that lot.
Yep, they have. They've kept us safe. Yes, she's had COVID. Yes, she's had a chest infection. But she's 96 and she's still here.
Yeah, well, it's a bonus.
Hats off to them.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Great
Without a
hearing
doubt.
from you. I'm glad you've had such a special day. Thank you for ringing in. Cheers, love.
Lovely. Right, cheers, Alan.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's lovely. Nice stuff. Right, a few emails that have come in as well. David says, listening to the show, can you give me a mention? And he says, I have autism. Let everybody know it's Autism Awareness Week this week. And he also wonders, are there any autism groups that he could attend? If you know of any, let us know and we will announce them, no question. Tony, trusty taxi driver, says, Kevin Bridges, love Kevin, does a bit about cats in his stand-up show. He says, you always see homeless people with dogs and not cats because cats are the most disloyal animals on the planet. As soon as you lose your house, they leave you and move on to a better owner. Boom, how about that? And the last one is heart-rending, and it's from Scott. Scott says, Alan, my dad has just died. Regular viewer of the show. Can I have some well wishes, please? I'm devastated. Scott, stay, keep a heart is the key, really, to all of this. There's nothing. I remember the day that I lost my dad as well. It's like one of the great foundations of your life is suddenly not there. I absolutely understand, and I'm so sorry for your loss. You heard what I said earlier about how I feel about people that pass. I don't sympathize with the person that's passed. I sympathize with those of us that are left behind because they're on to more wonderful adventures. And I'm sure your dad has too. Scott, love to you. Thanks for just making contact. And surround yourself with the people that you love as well. And go out and talk about your dad, about how special he was. Tell everybody. Never let them forget. 01914 488 3188. Our next caller is Adam, who is in Gateshead. Hello, Adam.
Hey, Alan.
Hiya. What can we do for you tonight, Adam?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry for Scott for losing his dad. It must be a hard time for him.
That's very sad.
I've been thinking about me, obviously today I've been thinking about my mum a lot because she passed away a few years ago and we're in the best of circumstances at the time.
Right.
But I've just been thinking today about the practical jokes she used to play on us on April Fool's Day when I was a kid and when I was younger.
Like what?
One time she woke us up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to school, and I hurried up, got ready, went to pick up my mate from school, and he says, it's Sunday, you fool.
Excellent. That's great.
And the time when we were at Gateshead Stadium Metro, and we saw the train coming, and my mind was wandering, I wasn't concentrating. And she says, oh, before going past, don't forget to put your arm out for it. And I put my arm out for the train. And she used to love having the April Fool's Day gags on it. She caught it every single year.
Brilliant.
Didn't matter whether I was an adult, whether I was a kid, I always fell for it.
Excellent. That's a proper mommy. Proper mommy, Adam. Brilliant.
We're being so close to April Fool's Day. I like that. At least it makes us laugh when I think about that.
Perfect. Perfect timing as well. Adam, thanks for calling. Great to hear from you.
Right.
Thanks for
Thanks,
ringing
Alan.
in. Take care. Bye-bye. Also, time for another quick tune, but it's a corker. I asked Eagle-Eye Cherry, brother of Nina Cherry, whether or not he is, I've just been told not the clip. Oh, I beg your pardon. No, we're not playing that, but we are playing that in about 10, 15 minutes. He's quite right. Well stuff. That's Tony using the emergency brake. We've got one of those studios, kind of like a car you would go on a driving lesson with. And if I go up the wrong alley, he puts his foot on the brake. He just has, because it's a brake, not the song. One day I'll learn.
Just to make sure that that's steady. Put them both there, right up to the left.
Don't do that to me.
Well, we're going to have wondering who's walking on my big room in the day.
I'm testing all these out for the ghost thing, and you're like coming up and doing that. I was like, oh my god.
Choose out there with the lights.
So that's fine. Yeah.
So here we are, inside Ackham Hall now. As you can see, it's
Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest hits radio.
Keep the calls coming in. Also, send any emails or any messages that you want on, and we will sort them out for you. But we're over to Kath now, who's in Stakeford. Hi, Kath.
Hiya, Alan. Long time no speak.
I know. Welcome back. How's
I
things?
know.
You all right?
All right, not bad, yeah.
That's good.
So,
Right, what you got for us tonight then,
well,
Kath?
you posted on the page about your last photograph on your phone.
Yes, that's
well,
right.
Today, me and my little boy, who's now 8, have been morph hunting in North Tyneside.
Right. From
Remember?
more from Heart.
Tony Hart, yes.
What was the
The
show
little
called
clock-
again? Hearts.
Oh, I can't remember, but I know it
Heartbeat.
was an arty crafty show, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, remember a few years ago they did elephants and they had the little elephant statues round
Newcastle.
and Gateshead.
Yeah, it was
Well,
connected to St Oswald's Hospice.
Yes. Well, this is a similar thing with Morph.
Right.
And they've got 20 statues like Whitley Bay, North Shields, Walls End, all around North Tyneside.
Give over. I hadn't
But we
heard
went
that.
out-
That's cool. Right.
Yeah, it's the only frustrating thing is it finishes next weekend.
Right. How many have you
So,
managed to find then?
We found 10 today.
Oh, that's great. Oh, so that was the job. You were going around as many morphs as you could.
Yeah, we went to Whitley Bay. There were 6 in Whitley Bay, then Colourcoat, Tynemouth, then back to Forest Hall and Killingworth on the way home.
Hey, that's great.
So we found 10 altogether, and I don't know how far we've walked. So we had a bit of a late night last night because we were out karaoke and then obviously losing an hour's sleep with the clocks going forward. We were shattered.
You see, this is the thing. Do you know how your phone? Because I've just looked at my watch, and my watch says 10 to 11 because I haven't changed my watch. And
Or is it an old-fashioned watch?
I got up. It is absolutely. It's like it's a windy one rather than like an electronic one. And so all day today, I've been thinking, I'm feeling really tired. Why am I feeling tired? And it's because I've completely lost an hour's sleep.
Yeah.
I understand now. So if you don't hear much in the last 2 hours, you'll know what's happened.
Well,
Hey, but
I was going to have an early night, but then obviously I've ended up staying there to come on the phone.
Hey, now
the
that's
lad that was on earlier, who had his beard and whatnot died.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm doing the opposite. In 5 weeks' time, I'm braving the shave.
Right. Oh, wow.
So, and my hair's like sort of halfway down my back.
This is a biggie for you because
it is.
Have you ever been shorn?
No, it's about the only thing I haven't had done.
Right.
Because I've been. I joke about with people and they say, what's your hair going to be like? And I'm like, I haven't got a clue because I've been dyeing my hair for like the last 30 odd years.
Right.
Because
it's a shock, you know. It is a shock. I remember when I was little, my mother, because my dad never did anything with me, ever, barely played with me, wouldn't talk to me unless it was absolutely necessary. But one day, I'd started growing my hair long, like I'm still going here long, but I started.
You're a rocker, so.
Absolutely. So I started growing my hair long, more probably Beatlesy. Because it was about probably 1962, 63. I'd be about 7, 8 year old, and I wanted like a Beatle cut, you know, just kind of barely touching your shoulders. And my dad was having none of that, and he said, I'm taking him to the barbers. He took me to the barbers, and he says, the barber says to me, how would you like it, son? And I says, well, just a tiny little bit off the bottom because I'm growing it in. And of course, my dad winked at him. And he didn't even use scissors. He used one of those, the thing that you use on sheep. Straight over the top.
I think that's what I'll be doing, but I'm doing it for charity, so there's obviously a reason behind it. So
no, but it's the aftermath because first of all you're totally baldy, and then you're little spike. It's a spiky everywhere.
I got provided with a couple of baseball caps last night. And when I was out shopping with my mum the other day, I said, how to get myself a baseball cap? And she said, you'll need a woolly hat. I went, I'm not wearing a woolly hat in the summer. I look stupid. So I've managed to get a couple of baseball caps, so I'll be protected from the sun.
That's the way, because I remember when I went to school, I did wear a woolly hat in the classroom because I was so embarrassed. And of course, the first thing the teacher did was walk up and go, pop.
Whipped it off.
And everybody in the class like, well, look at Baldy Robbo.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an experience. Like I say, I've had everything over the years. It's been all sorts of colours and styles, and I think the skinhead is about the only thing I haven't had done.
Right.
But it will grow back.
It will,
You
but
know,
it does take its time, and it sometimes comes in slightly different. You know,
well, I see. This is the thing. It's because at the minute it's two-tone purple. And I'm fighting a losing battle with the grey and the white, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing it.
Right.
Because I thought if I'm going to get it cut, why not just get it shaved off and raise a load of money for charity in the process?
It's a lovely thing. Why have you chosen the charity that you have?
I'm doing it for meningitis now.
Right.
And I have spoken to you before about it, but my little boy Stanley had meningitis just before he was 2.
Right. Yeah.
And he obviously survived, and he's so far no side effects, but they're a fantastic charity and they don't get enough recognition.
Yeah.
And I actually, the last time I did something for them was in 2019. I zip wired off the Tyne Bridge.
Right. Oh, brilliant. I remember when
and-
everybody did that. It was
Oh,
fantastic.
honestly, but it's not a natural. They had the pushes.
Yeah.
And I've said to them I'll do it again, but they'll still have the pushes off.
Yeah, they'll still have to hoof you. That's the only way to get you.
That was like obviously the best 60 seconds of my life, I think.
It's one of those things that at the moment you get up there, it's the thing you regret more in your life. But when you get to the other side, it's like, piece of cake.
It's so exhilarating and everything. But it's. I mean, they'll always be my go-to charity because of the support I had afterwards, kind of thing. And they do need a lot more support for things like that. And it's kind of took a back burner over the last couple of years with all the lockdowns and everything. Obviously, charities have been really affected.
Everybody suffered.
So
Everybody.
I just thought I'd do my little bit with that. So.
But you mentioned that it's one of those charities that doesn't get enough cred. It's just they're in with thousands of other charities at the minute.
It, yeah.
Everybody's asking for
everybody's
for
in
money.
the same boat.
It is tough. Hey, Kath, well done. Lovely to hear from you again. Thanks for
Thank
ringing
you.
up.
No problem. Cheers, Alan.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
darling. Bye-bye. Oh, that's nice. Issa says, Alan, when clocks go back, do watches go back too? Well, yes, they do. But the clocks went forward, you see. That's the thing. 0191, so they didn't go back. 0191 488 3188. We just lost an hour. And I wondered where it went. I am feeling, got up super early this morning because I'm jogging like crazy. The belly will go. I've made my mind up. And it's a nightmare. I loathe and hate it, as everybody knows. And I'm still doing it. Question. This is a strange thing. When I'm jogging, if I'm running up a hill, I'm running towards the cars coming in the opposite direction. Now, if they drive around me, if there's nothing coming the other way, if they drive around me without needing to slow down, they don't wave. But if I get off the road onto the verge as they appear, then they do wave. Don't understand why they shouldn't just wave anyway, because I wave to everybody. 0191 488 3188. So why don't you wave? Explain. We're off to Karen now, who's in Dongy. However, piece of music first. I mentioned Eagle Eye Cherry. You know who his sister is because I mentioned it earlier. And I asked him whether he was romantic or not. Have a listen. See what you think.
Eagle Eye, are you a romantic soul then, are you?
I guess I am a little bit of a romantic, yeah.
What is the most sort of lovey-dovey thing you've ever done then?
I guess it was last August when I rented a cottage in Northern California, and it was a little, one of those log cabins up in the mountains, and it was just me and my girl, and we spent about 5 days up there.
You start any forest fires?
I did not, but when we arrived, I had a bottle of champagne waiting for us right there when we walked in. Lit the fire. Basically, what happens in the tune,
Yeah, you smoothie. You're a smoothie. Yeah. You don't look like a smoothie, Eagle Eye. It has to be said. You don't look like a smoothie, but you are a bit.
What am I supposed to look like, Barry White or something like that?
So when
I'm a little bit too skinny for that, aren't I?
Yeah, just an ounce or a pound or a few pounds, a few hundred pounds.
Quite a few, yeah.
Have a meal or have a stay, or if you've got a business for you to hold some business meetings, seminars, all that kind of stuff that you do. Yet there's an amazing story here. So make sure you share. If you do, you could get one of our fabulous Night Owl badges. They're there for you. We'd love to share one with you. Now, The stories here are sensational and they never stop. Everywhere you go, there seems to be a tale. Now, in the cemetery, we saw Charlotte, a child Charlotte, born in 1800. 72 years of age, she died, the child. But the original Charlotte is the Grey Lady that haunts Acklam Hall. Now, the story goes that Charlotte was heavy with child, and it was a difficult breech birth. And they had to get a woman who traditionally had birthed cattle and horses to put her hands inside poor Charlotte to bring the baby out. When the baby came out, the baby was completely red. And she said, this child must be called Rose. They put the child in a cot. She was premature, but they looked after and nurtured her. Whoa. I've just had a creepy feeling. If anybody's caught anything there, I just got a sense of movement to my left. So, child's in a cot. There's Charlotte. She got up in the middle of the night in immense pain. A lot of people believe that she jumped out of a window. I can find no proof that she jumped out of a window at all. I do find 3 out of about 15 different stories that all seem spun around truth. She'd just given birth to the child she chose to call Rose. She's suffering pain in the middle of the night. She comes out. She hemorrhages at the top of the flight of stairs that we're going to be going up soon. And she tumbles. She tumbles down one side, tries to get up and tumbles down the second and dies just outside this door, just around the corner from here. It's where she passed. Now, why does she still walk Acklam Hall? What I think, and you can't prove these things, but the child was taken away to be suckled by a wet nurse because obviously mum wasn't there anymore. And the father decided to call the child a different name, not Rose that Charlotte wanted. Instead, named the child after his late wife, Charlotte, which is a beautiful tribute, but it's not what the original Charlotte wanted. And she comes back, and if you're on the stairs for any length of time, we're told she's been known to give you a little push, give you a little shove, or let you know. Because if you're a regular ghost hunter, you'll know sometimes you pick up the feelings, the emotions, the sense of what is in the building. And you feel her pain, low gut pain, the hemorrhage that took her to her death. But she's here. People hear her and people see her. And we're hoping she's going to come out tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do is ring up the necromancer and get that amplifier on it so you can be able to hear absolutely everything.
We've got one new device as well. I've got the ghost box.
We have a new ghost box. Thanks again to the Jarapara people who have been some of our staunchest allies, and we're grateful. Support us all. Thank you. We're going to be using that gadget now. You can hear a little bit of change because we're not too far from a bar here. Are you here, Charlotte? Charlotte? Is that you, Charlotte? Hello? Charlotte? Speak to us. Trust in the Lord, she's just said. Tony. Female voice. Trust in the Lord. We've seen, Charlotte, we've just visited your child's grave. Little Rose.
Charlotte, that sounded like.
The man said Charlotte. Charlotte. Speak to me, Charlotte. There are many with you. There's lots here. But it's Charlotte I wish to talk to. Do you wish to talk to me, Charlotte? Getting a mix. There's a lot here. But you've got to remember, this place has been here a long time.
Do you want to go in the attic? Of course.
Hang on, Kenny's just arrived. What have you found?
Right, I've just talked to a guy here who stays here at night time and looks after the place. And he just said the worst place in here is the attic. He says, do you want the key?
Have you got it?
Not yet.
Go, get it. We'll go there right now. You see, when you come to working buildings, you cannot blame people for making a living. And people haven't made a living for a couple of years. So everybody's playing catch up, which is part of the reason all the bills are going up. And of course, according to today's news, up 40% because of Brexit. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. The things we do to our own country is ridiculous. I wasn't sure with the whole Brexit thing one way or another, so I didn't vote. I maybe should have done because I've never known places as they are at present. So Kenny's working on that.
Do you want to go upstairs a bit? It's less noisy.
Yeah, let's absolutely do it. Because we're going to have to head in that direction. I'll tell you what, can I just set a trap first? I've got the box as well, so we might as well put one down here. Just put it on the side of the table away from where we are.
It's you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Okay, time for your second clue as promised. And the first clue, if you remember, what you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. What song is that? Second clue, what most shops keep their money in. What most shops keep their money in. 2 clues down, you now have 2 song titles. 2 more to come, and then you can ring in and see if you can be a winner. Let's do that. Just going to try and get as many of you on as we possibly can. Our next caller is Karen from Doncaster. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Alan.
Hello. How are you?
I'm a bit croaky, Bonnie lad. I've got COVID.
Oh, bless. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
You're rough.
Crap, yeah, I've just downed half a bottle of Cavonia, so I might not make much sense. But, there we go.
Cavonia.
I can usually do that.
It'll-
I've puffs done out my sails.
Oh, it'll sort you out. You just sound a bit Bonnie Tyler. That's all it is, Karen.
Gravel butts.
You'll manage. So
Yeah.
what you got for us, darling?
Well, I was going to wish my mum happy Mother's Day, but it's past that now, so I'll tell you a little ghosty story.
Oh, do please.
Yeah. I got quite a bit in investigating this, but it was when I was at my cousin's house. I was up there. She lived in Towlaw in Durham.
Oh, lovely.
And I took my guinea pigs up with me, right? And she's got guinea pigs, and we let them go in the kitchen.
Right.
And we were sitting outside,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden I saw a ginger cat with its tail raised, just slink in like a cat does with its thumb in the air.
Yeah.
And it went, and I shouted, "Oh my God, Lynn, there's a cat in!" She ran to the middle room where her husband was. He ran upstairs. And I ran to the kitchen. I was expecting one of the guinea pigs in the cat's mouth. There's no cat.
Sure.
No cat there at all. No possibility of a cat getting in or anything. But she looked at me, gone out. But there was no cat. There was no way a cat could have got in.
Weird.
Because it was in a yard that's built right up.
Right.
And well, anyway, the following year, I was up for a daughter's wedding. I run a dress shop, and I've done all the stuff for the daughter's wedding. I was just in bed on my iPad, and all of a sudden, I just felt this thing jump on the bed, and it just crawled up my legs, and just settled across my waist. Wow. What the hell it is? Whether it's like a cat.
But you just didn't. You felt it, but you didn't see anything.
I put the light on. I wasn't scared because, as I say, I go out a lot, and I know anything paranormal. It's the shock that makes you jump.
Sure.
I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
But I just felt something. I would say that like the weight of a cat or a Yorkshire Terrier sort of. And
Yeah. Amazing.
I just went up, and then it sat on. And my cousin, she's petrified of living in the house now. She thinks I'm spooked. Yeah. Me and my friend, we'd love to go out with you on one of these.
Ghost
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be doing that again soon, so that's tremendous. We've taken a few. We're going to take a few more. That's brilliant. Yeah. Hey, well, Karen, anything else while you're on?
Yeah, can I just tell you, because I've made you a special steampunk top hat with a night owl on it.
Give over. Oh, that's lovely.
I wanted to give it to you, but I don't know how to get it to you. If somebody could contact me, I'll send you it. It'd be an honour.
We'll have to find a way, because we're down. Well, we're not quite down as far as Doneymane, I have to say.
No, I'll send it up to you if you give me an address.
Oh, we'll tell you what. I'll stay on the line after, and I'll tip you through to Chris, and Chris will sort that. But that is lovely, Karen. Bless you. Thank you so much.
I need this, but I've not been able to find a way of getting in contact with you.
I'm glad you did. Thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you so much. Stay online. We'll sort that out. Thank you. Oh, how nice. What a lovely touch. 01914 488 3188. Give me a call. Night Owls. Alan Robson with you. That is a sweet thing. Nicola. Well, incidentally, Towlow, she mentioned Towlow. I was doing some research for somewhere very near to Towlow. Do you know, many people may, many people may not, do you know that Towlow, where they got their name from the Old English, and it's Old English, really close to either Irish or Welsh. There's a bit of attached to it. And the name is Tothlaw. Tothlaw is where Towlow got its name from. And it actually means, in Old English, the mound for the lookout. The lookout's mound. How about that? How cool. What was he looking out for? That's the question. 01914 488 3188. Nicola is next in Washington. Let's find out what that's all about. Hi, Nicola.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. What you got for us all tonight, then?
Well, obviously, yes, it's 12:10, but happy Mother's Day to my mum. And I thought I'll come in because without her encouragement and support for the last, I'd say 2 years, I've had long COVID, so I've been struggling with that. But with her encouragement, I've been able to publish my own children's book.
Oh, wow. What's it called? Tell us everything about it.
It's called Compost the Cat. It's the first in a series called The Adventures of Compost.
Right.
Compost is a cat, obviously, and it's about friendship, adventure, and disability. So you've got Compost, who is neurodiverse, but he meets friends along the way on his adventures who have disabilities of different sorts.
Right.
My first book has got a cat called Poppy, who's got a physical disability.
Right.
But other ones that I will be writing in the series will have different disabilities, whether it's physical, mental, or learning disabilities.
Right.
And also, like the children's book series shows inclusion and diversity. through a variety of disabilities and is accessible in many formats. So I've done it in paperback, large print, braille and audio, and it's soon to be out in British Sign Language as well.
That's right. So how do people get hold of it? Is it in all the usual places?
It is. It's in Amazon. It's on Waterstones, and it's also on my website. If you go to theadventuresofcompost.co.uk.
Theadventuresofcompost.co.uk. That's brilliant. Yeah. What gave you the idea? Because it's a lovely way of including everybody.
Yes. Well, the idea of compost came when I was a little girl. My mum's friend had a cat called Compost, and because it's an unusual name, I attached myself and loved that name. Didn't start writing till years and years later, and then started writing. And then I found out that I went into a library and looked at a few children's books with a friend and realised there's not many children's books out there about disability.
Sure.
So that's when I knew I had to do it, put disability into my books. And also in my mind, why write about disability when not everybody can access it? So that's what my aim was, to get it more accessible for everyone.
That's nice. That's a lovely reason. Yeah. Well done. So you've got a whole string of ideas of subsequent adventures. Then that's good.
My mind never goes to sleep.
Brilliant. You'll get a few done then. Hey, well, that's lovely. Exactly. Thank you for coming on, Nicola. Lovely to hear about it, and well done.
Thank you for.
You're welcome. No problem. Right, off to Durham. You know, we were talking before about, has social services ever caused you a problem or misused you in any shape or form? I've got a sneaky suspicion that Anonymous in Durham has the very tale. Hello, Anonymous.
Good evening, Alan. I've listened to the lady before, and unfortunately, I'm going to tell you a story now which happened to me a year ago regarding the local authority, which was absolutely horrific. And I'm sure there's many people gone through what I've gone through. The situation stands is, my son was going with a girl who couldn't keep her child. So they sat me down one day and said, as the grandma, would you be prepared to do this? You bring the child up. And I said, yes, I'll bring the child up. Right. I worked with the local authority. They came to their house and they said, the first thing words out of their mouth was, don't worry, the last thing we do is split families up. Right, here we go. They refused to do an assessment on me. I couldn't understand why. I brought in my own solicitor. She had to go to the court and apply for an independent social worker. Unfortunately, I gained fantastic grades. Unfortunately, she passed away. So because I got good grades, the local authority then said, well, we want another one. So I thought, right, okay. So I got another one done. Believe it or not, I got better grades than that. They tried everything. They did, believe it or not, 5 police checks on me. I don't know what they were looking for. I didn't even have a parking ticket. You know, I worked with them. It was in my assessment that I worked with them. I did everything and more they requested. They then insisted that I went through an independent medical private with my GP. I went through that. I got amazing grades with that. They tried to bring back to the courts that my GP wasn't being honest about my health. They said that I was always totally honest. I said that, yes, one of my conditions is epilepsy. They came and they looked around the house. They were quite happy with the house. Between the mother and myself, we spent nearly £3,000 on this baby. This nursery still stands today. I said, well, in all due respect, you've got concerns that the baby may drown because I've got epilepsy. And they said, yes. I said, you walked around my house? They said, yes. I said, did you open your eyes? He said, what do you mean by that? I said, I don't have a bathroom. I've got a walk-in shower. They went, oh, right, okay then. So every time we went to court, 8 times, they adjourned and adjourned because they couldn't find nothing on me. The last time when the judge said we were going for it, the next time they obtained my medical records, which went back over 29 years. My own GP said if it was 29 years, this wouldn't have been successful. But because, unfortunately, this is something I've got to live with for the rest of my life, but my health is sort of like improving as time's gone on.
No, hang on. What did they find 29 years ago that stumped you?
Exactly, because I had epilepsy.
Well, you told them that right at the top, didn't you?
I told them everything. I never held nothing back. I was totally honest with them, and they still wouldn't do it. And the only way they got to me at the very end was, you have a disability pension. You're either not as ill or what you're saying you are, even though I had not one but 8 doctors' letters confirming what I was saying was the gospel. So we'll either take that from you or we'll have you for fraud.
What?
And I lost this child, and this child was adopted. But believe you me, Alan, I am still going to go down another route now where I'm going to fight for this child. This is my grandson, and I have every right in this world to bring this child. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but when they say that, we don't want to split families up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, they did. And I understand, okay, you have a health condition. Mm-hmm. How many other parents of several children have epilepsy? Is not uncommon on this planet, you know?
Yep.
I don't get it. I would have thought they'd be clapping their hands at your results and stuff rather than trying to. You've got a good result, so we'll have another one in case you get a bad one. I mean,
exactly. Every time I was getting a good result, they weren't playing. They couldn't find nothing. Now, what amazed the courts as well, they could never be organised. Wait for it. 8 adjourns at this court. They could never be organised for this case. It was adjourned. Now, they obtained these medical records, even though the courts did not require them, and they went through 520 pages within 24 hours.
It's just beyond belief. My experience of the judiciary, and this is for people to do with their personal lives, not crime. But my experience of that is that it seems to be a money trap. Let's keep this going on as long as I possibly can. Let's get 9 checks when one would do. Let's get 5 checks when one would do. Let's just spend as much of people's money as is possible. Let's feed off them like a vampire, sucking the lifeblood out of families. And I think it's a disgrace.
So do I. And believe you me, Alan, I swear down, it might have finished at the present moment because unfortunately the child's been adopted. But believe you me, it isn't ending there because I'm now looking into a different law where I can go back to court and fight for my grandchild.
Once they've been adopted, that's a trick. That's not easy.
I know. I've been told it's very tricky now that they've been adopted. This could be awkward. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But you've got every right to fight for your own family health. Who else is going to?
I mean, like I said, I went to a box myself, and I said, in all due respect to the local authority, I appreciate some children do need support and help, but definitely not in this case. It was not necessary. I didn't sort of hold back on nothing. I thought, well, why should I?
No, and also when it comes to adoption, there's a lot of people searching for adoptive parents, and that would have solved somebody else's problem too.
Exactly.
Right,
I mean, I was even present for the birth because I was so convinced they just blatantly waved a carrot in front of me. Do you know what I mean? I was there for the birth. I fed that child its first bottle. Do you know what I mean? And I was under the impression that child was coming home with me after 8 hours. That hospital said, "I'm sorry, but the child's not coming home with you." I said, "So what's happening with the child?" Do you know what they came back with? "We don't know because the local authority haven't got it organised yet."
Yeah, which tells you everything. That's just a pattern of what's going to follow, as it seems.
And the amount of people in the same predicament as that, it's horrific. It is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you for calling. Lovely to
Thank
hear
you.
your story. I wish it was under better circumstances. Thank you for ringing.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Oh, my goodness. Awful, 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 awful. And I've heard a lot of them sitting in this seat. And I understand how difficult it is and the priority's got to go with the child. I get it. I understand all of that. But when a family wants to keep a child within its family, don't you bend just a tad to help them? 01914 488 3188. Now we've got Sean from Berkeley. Hi, Sean.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm all right. What can we do for you?
Well, I thought I'd give you a ring tonight because I wanted to kind of shamelessly plug our new single that we've got coming out on the 4th.
Go for it. What is it?
Okay, well, the song's called The Magic Has Run Dry.
Right.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Getting there myself. To be honest with you, the song's about someone who's believing that there's such a thing as an elixir of youth,
right?
And they kind of hammer this elixir of youth, but it's not actually working. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's what the song's about anyway. I make music under the name of Vera Richardson. I had another local musician called Melanie Jane, and I got her involved with making the track.
Right.
I already recorded it as a demo, and I sent it to her, and I said, it would be great if you could sing it because I've heard her voice before on other stuff, and she's a great singer. So I literally sent the track to her, and I just said, just make the song your own,
Right. Yeah.
And then off she went, recorded it, sent the whole lead vocal back to us, and I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So just into the computer it went, mix our voices together, and then we made this song, and it seems to be gaining a lot of traction online, which I'm pleased about.
That's good.
So
hang on, give us this again. The Magic Has Run Dry, and what do people look for? Who's it by? What's the title have you used between the pair of you?
Okay, Very Sonic.
Very Sonic.
Barisonik.
Right.
Okay.
And send us a copy of it, Sean. Send us the digital sample of it, and we'll play it.
Okay, I will do. So who do I send that to then?
I'll hand you over to Chris, and Chris will give you all the information, okay?
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Alan. Thanks for that.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, good. Just a little blast, just a little flavour. Let everybody know who it is, where it is, what it is. And if you want to do that too over the next few weeks, we'll be doing that. 0191 488 3188. Just to give you a leg up any way we can. Brian's with us in Gateshead. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hello, Alan. A couple of things I was going to mention.
Okay.
The Russians, right?
Right.
They've done some horrific things. Obviously, the things that they've got up to in Ukraine. That you've had people on the TV, the Ukrainian MPs and stuff. And I just think that Biden had a bit of a message for Putin when he said that he has to be taken out of power. You know what I mean? I just feel it was deliberate. It was deliberately said. A lot of people said he was misquoted, but I think, he was saying that because he wanted somebody to overthrow the government in Russia.
Yes, I think whether it was a good idea or not, only time will tell. Because some people are now saying, "Oh, you're risking a nuclear this and that." It's Putin that's threatening all of that. Yeah. All that Biden said was maybe it's time for Putin to step aside. Problem is, the people in Russia only hear Putin's side for everything. And it's hard to imagine what it must be like when the only news you get is utterly censored the whole time, to the degree that he's stopped, obviously, the internet being used in Russia other than the Russian side of the internet. So it must be very, very difficult to try and scratch through. I mean, in the West, you can go on Google and see what the crack is, like we do. but they can't do that over there, not in any shape or form. But it would be interesting to see how your standard Russian takes it, because they're decent. I've been lucky enough to go, and they're decent, and they're nice, and they're warm and kind. They're not what you'd imagine. You know, they're not all in the KGB wanting to spike us with polonium.
No, the thing was, Alan, I was watching the news. I don't watch on the TV because it's so horrific, but there was a story on there, those women who were in that theatre that was bombed.
Yes.
And I can't remember the name of the charity, it was a French charity. They were trying to dig them out, and obviously they were getting shot at. And this guy was saying you could hear the women screaming, and the babies were crying and coughing. They were like hungry, they were starving. Like, unfortunately, a lot of them did die and suffocate down there. And I just feel it was a horrific, thing to do, bomb the civilians and stuff.
I do think if the Russian people could see what the rest of the world has been seeing, that would be the chance for somebody to come forward and say, we can't support this, especially as they consider the people of Ukraine to be their brothers and sisters. Well, you just don't, do you? That's
absolutely not. I just want to go on to another topic as well.
Okay.
This trans person, the Thomas, the guy who's been competing in America, this woman.
Yes.
Well, apparently he actually hasn't transitioned, so he's still got his bits and pieces. I mean, so how fair is that on women? Do you know what I mean?
No, I hear it. It's just the lawmakers in sport, I think, leapt on the whole LGBT thing and said, "Oh, we're going to have this," but they hadn't thought it out, and it's not fair. It's not fair until people of the same degree of sexuality, whatever that is, should race or battle or whatever or play against people who are exactly the same. The levels between trans from the beginning to the end, there's like half a dozen stages in there. And it's complex. I think it can be sorted, but they've got to get a grip of it sooner rather than later, rather than say, I want to be this, so now I'm going to run as a man or a woman, depending.
Yeah. Women who are in that situation, female athletes who are in that situation, should just boycott the race. Say, look, we're not getting in that pool, or we're not doing that sport. That person has got male hormones in their body. They're stronger than us. They're more athletic than us. We're not going to chance. So until women start boycotting the races, that trans individual should be excluded, because it's not fair on women. It's just unfair, because a lot of women out there have trained for years to try and win medals and trophies and get on in their career, and haven't got a hell's chance, because this person decided he wants to be a woman, even though he's got all these male bits. So to me, he's not a woman in my book. You know what I mean? He's a trans guy. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Right. He's still got all these bits.
Well, I mean, realistically, people can be whatever they want to be. It's just the rules have to be adhered to, and they have to be fair for everybody. And we're not there yet. I mean, trans folk have had a real rough time in past years. I get that. So I think they're just bending a bit too far on the other side. They've got to be fair. They've got to find a way to be fair to everybody. That's
Well, you know, they could do, Alan. I've got a bit of a solution. They should have They should have a sports thing where male, female, and trans people could get involved together if they want to compete against each other. But if it's just a single race where it's women only, that should be just women only. Do you know what I mean? If they want to try, do you know what I mean? They should have like a try-off thing where it's a voluntary thing where men, women, and trans people can get involved themselves and compete against each other properly on a level playing field.
I don't know whether that's the answer or not, to be honest, but an answer has to be found. I haven't got it, but it has to be found just to be generally
What do you think about these people that will still come over on the boats? You know, there's a lot of them coming over, and, you know, we're trying to support the genuine refugees from Ukraine, and, you know, there's people turning up on the beaches, and the government's made it so difficult for people to come here. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to have this visa, you've got to have these certificates, you've got to have these forms, that form. Yeah. And a lot of people are going to be put off. I think myself, when this is all over, there'll be hardly anybody here coming here from Ukraine because the government's made it so difficult for them to come here. And they're the genuine people who are really like suffering, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if
Been through war and everything.
If you look at what a lot of Brexit was, Brexit to a lot of people, not everybody by any stretch, but for a percentage, it was because they didn't want people coming, those people coming over here, like people always have. There was a hint of racism attached to it, not for the majority, but for a small percentage. And for those people, they'll be clapping, thinking that that's perfect. Let's stop as many as is possible. I'm not saying that's a good thing by any stretch.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who genuinely realise that these people have got problems, and you know what I mean. Obviously, they've had their houses blown to pieces, they've had their cities torn apart.
Absolutely.
You know, we should be letting them in. We should make it as easy for the people who are coming to Poland or Slovakia to come here. Yeah,
for the genuine,
no question. You know, and they want to go back. So I mean, to try and rebuild the country once this conflict's over, when this war's over.
Yeah.
And the other ones are just economic refugees in my book. They just want to come here for a better life. They've been in France. They don't want to stay in France. You know what I mean? They're safe in France. They're not going to, you know what I mean? They just want to come here because they have this idea in their heads that, we'll get out to the National Health Service and we can get, like, you know what I mean? Well looked after, so to speak. I don't know.
No,
that's how it feels.
I hear your view. Let's see what everybody else says. Brian, thanks for calling.
Cheers, Alan.
Cheers, Brian. Bye-bye. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? 01914 488 3188. I just think it's really difficult to justify anybody being racist in this day and age. The vast majority of people that wanted Brexit wanted to toughen the borders up. Understand that. We don't want illegals piling in all directions. I understand that. For those that... You know, the little racist edge that's in there, it's hard to understand how you can be when you see especially the Ukrainian situation. They're just people like us trying to get by. They don't want to leave their homes. They're being pushed out by bombs, bullets, rape and murder. And anybody that can't have sympathy with that being a background, what kind of human being are you? 01914 488 3188. Right. Another star coming out at night. This time it's Darren Hayes from Savage Garden. I asked him about his early days. Now, people would look at you and think, well, you've never been poor. You can't possibly have been poor. When was that?
Oh, you know what? I think what I love about living in England actually is that most people probably grew up the way we did. You know, we were about a paycheck off being bankrupt. We lived in a. Do you have caravan parks here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we didn't have a house at one point. We lived in a caravan and, but you know, for me, the bigger problems in my life were, you know, my old man, I love him to death, but he really battled with the drink and, you know, he was a hard man. He's a violent man and all that stuff. It's funny. I don't regret it. It really, I won't say it toughened me up. It opened me up and it really made me so grateful for my life. And it gave me as a kid, as I'm sure many young kids can understand, you know, that desire to break out of where society had dumped you.
Sure.
You know, I thought, no, I'm gonna make something of my life.
I think Australia has a lot in common with the industrial cities.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why Britain. I love,
And I don't even know how to phrase this because I don't want to diss your dad, is what I'm worried about.
No, go for it.
Your dad trouble with a drink.
Yep.
That's not unknown in this part of the world either.
Yeah.
But did you come out while your dad, because men in the Northeast are traditionally prejudiced. I don't mean that to not everybody, but certainly if you go talk to my grandfather's generation, the thought of my son being gay was
exactly.
Whoa!
Oh, look, it was you know, it's amazing. It was definitely a tough thing. And my dad was a merchant marine. You know, he was tough as nails. Yeah. And do you know, my father was the kindest and had the best reaction actually when I came out. He was amazing. So you can never tell.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I totally relate to the northern thing. You know, I love, it's weird. Anyone north of London, I tend to just relate to, and it's that working class thing. And my dad, it gave me a real bond with him afterwards because his only concern for me was that I would have a hard life, and he would never wish a hard life on his son.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
going to try and get the key forward.
Right.
A few minutes time, try and get in the attic. That would be good.
Okay, can you hang here? Yeah. Do a sweep. Right. The two downstairs rooms, real slow. Do the whole thing.
The one next door in here.
Yeah, Tony and I, in the meantime, will just go upstairs, pick us up on the way in, because there's obviously attic is, I presume,
must be the very top.
Right, so let's do that. We'll go up one floor in the meantime. These are the stairs, Tony. The stairs.
Oh.
So we need to. Apparently, we're not sure what floor she was on, but she fell down one, and she got up and fell down another. It's the best we can come down it now for this way. It's the longest way around. Now we mentioned that this place was a school. More proof of that is this. Middlesbrough High School for Girls, G.K. Macara, 1927 to 1963, but a proper history there. Now, I know this is a bar now, but it wasn't always. These used to be some of the huge state rooms.
Apparently the ceiling hasn't been touched since it was built.
Fantastic. How beautiful is that? And this, oh, I'm so glad we see it. This here, you want to be at this angle, looking up like that, because that's the Hustler coat of arms. And if you look up there, no, you're at the wrong angle, Tony.
I can see what's on it.
Can you see the top of the helmet?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I mean, I can't see that far up. I can see the helmet.
Well, what's on top of the helmet? It's massive.
Oh, the dog.
The dog. It's a Talbot. Now, I don't know whether you've ever heard of a Talbot. A Talbot is a hunting dog. And back in the day, back in this time, the time of the night, a Talbot was used for attacking wolves and tracking people down. Now, you know how throughout history, there's always been this story of detectives or soldiers tracking people down with bloodhounds. They were never bloodhounds. They were a bloodhound's brother, the Talbot. The difference is that a Talbot was quite a vicious, quite a bitey dog. They were also called lime hounds, and they were used across the Scottish borders for tracking down criminals. And the reason that they used to track them down, and not sloppy, slavery bulldogs, bloodhounds rather, they used Talbots because a Talbot would rip the person to pieces when it got hold of them. So the Hustler family put the Talbot on the top of their coat of arms to symbolize the courage of the Acklam Knights. And there it is, the official coat of arms for the Hustler family, featuring that amazing dog, the Talbot, on the top.
There's one there as well outside on the statue. There's a one there as well.
On the statue?
Or on the top of whatever the door
Oh,
that is.
outside, yeah. That'll be the coat of arms as well. That's a Talbot. So, just fascinating, because I've never heard of a Talbot. They're extinct now, apparently. You can no longer get them. Oh, look at this. Oh, Tony, look at this one here. My goodness. And there's the Talbot. That's the royal crest. Fantastic. With the unicorn and the lion. Fabulous. Wow. They haven't touched this, have they? This is absolutely beautiful. How are we doing?
You couldn't make it up. You've just seen there. He says, "You'll not believe this." I said, "What?" He says, "What we talked about upstairs." I said, "We'll talk about getting the key to the attic." He went, "Look at your message on the phone." She said, "I've just got that 10 seconds ago." And it's from the woman to say, "By the way, your new set of keys are in a different box and all that." He says, "I never get a message off this woman ever. He says, in literally 10 seconds ago, he says, how weird is that? She just said, I'm going to look at him.
So he's going to get it, has he?
He's going to try and get it. He says, I'm trying to find out where this new set of keys is, which is telling me about. He says, so I'll try and get that. I said, well, if you get it, come up. Don't give her a fright. Right. Because he gives a fright before I was in here. I was like,
Kenny, spoil yourself and have a look at this, Kenny.
There's the coat of arms. Oh, man. With the dog up on the head.
Talbot. I'm just reading some of the story of it. Talbot. It's an ex-secret of memory. Right. It's the Ackland Knights who fought from here.
I know a dog called Talbot. No, that's all right. Kelly, I know what I'm talking about.
Look at this. That's got to be a dragon, is it?
That is a dragon.
That's amazing. What a beautiful ceiling, though. And they've got
Oh, look at that. That a cherub, so.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like it. And over here, there's a more formal crest.
Oh, look at that.
I know, it's just
Monroy.
stunning.
Is it? Do you ever Monroy? What does that mean?
I had a wobble, downstairs. I was telling a story. And I was sure I've got some movement on the left hand side, right? But so far, it's been flat, hasn't it? We haven't had anything.
Not yet.
So,
I think that's 1684.
That's what they were saying. Yeah, 1684. And that's when the ceiling. That was the year, because you can only put a royal crest up after a king stayed or a queen, right? So he came here in 1684. This place was built in 1683. Finished.
I don't even know if I turned them on to them.
I'll-
Down and he gives a fight when he come in.
I'll put them in a sit you up position so you can
Yeah.
see them. I've just actually noticed them.
So I put them down. And he came to that door and he just went, what are you doing here?
Gonna call next.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Okay, we are 2 clues in. You get a third clue in about 15 minutes, and 20 minutes after that, you get the fourth clue, and you can race in, see how good you are at identifying a superstar from their greatest hits. Clue number 1, what you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. Clue 2, what most shops keep their money in. 2 more clues to come, and we're very nearly there, so hang on in. Our next caller in is Edwin in Gateshead. Hello, Edwin.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, man. What you
Chris
talk?
is a canny lad now,
He's all right. What can we do for you?
Just a few things. I'll try and be quick. Okay. Get a few you can get a few people on. There's a big pothole on a Tyne Bridge.
Oh, what's
that? As you're going from the Gateshead to Newcastle on the outside lane. I mean, I just can't make all the shed. It's just an hour 202 course. But I've heard a couple of times. I mean, really not as a suspension, not potholes.
Right.
But there's a big one there on the Tyne Bridge that needs filling in.
No,
So
absolutely.
really
They're nightmares. But if you think about it, the one thing that the council probably want to do less than anything else is stop cars going backwards and forwards over the time. It's not like you're short of cars. Do you know what I mean?
There's too many on the road, and that was another thing I wanted to see when I'm trying to get parked in the street. I can never really get parked in the street, sometimes.
So what do you do? What do you do when you can't? What do you do when you can't get parked in your street? Then you have to go to another
I
street.
got the next street. There's the street at the back. I used to have a garage in the next street. And there's a couple of spaces there, so you jostle for a place there. And I just walk round, but try and consider other people, on the street and that.
Yeah, I used to live a few years back in a just for a couple of years in a place that was close to Newcastle football ground. And if you tried to park your car on a Saturday, if you went to the shops, you were scuttled, because until the game was over, you had to park like four streets away. It was that kind of thing.
Oh, I've done that.
Nightmare.
I've done that when I used to go to the match and I was parking up and I was trying to find a space. What else was I? All right, lasses with tattoos. What do you feel about that? No, women with tattoos.
Have you got some? Oh, women with tattoos. I think they can be lovely, or they can be absolutely nasty.
Oh, Oh no, I didn't like his arm old fashioned me. I didn't like to see it. There's too much of it now. Seen a one on Sunderland Road today. I mean, she was like a Dolly Bird dressed up last night. I was in the car. I just looked in the mirror, and I've seen a woman in the bloke in the car, and I've seen her looking. And I've seen her tan. I thought she'd be thinking the same thing as me. The tattoo was right up on her side. I mean, it was right up on her side. It wasn't like where you'd normally have them on your arm or something like that.
Right.
But I didn't know. I mean, what they can look like doing them when they're like 90, you know what I mean? When they're 90 and they can't know people's home or something like that, you know, to live on. People are going to say, I can tell you when you got that tattoo on, 1990s. Everybody got them on the 1990s. They did, didn't they? Everybody got them on when they beat that time.
But if it makes somebody happy, why the hell not?
Well, I'm probably like...
Because if you think about it, when you're 95, the state your body's in, you're not going to worry about having a tattoo to make it worse, are you, in fairness?
You're not like, but I don't know. I'm stereotypical, I don't know, but I don't know. In schools dinners, I think, for the kids, it's a shame, isn't it, what they get sometimes for the dinners?
Like, what? How's it got? Has it got worse? It was always a bit dodgy when I was there.
My mother worked on the school dinners, and she used to give them extra like helpings, and she used to get round for giving them more. She said, "You can't let them eat stuff like that. You know, they need more than that. You know."
Yeah.
But she left the school dinners after a while, like, because she was trying to give them more. You know, because it's a shame what they get. You know, I would like to see Jamie Oliver and James Morton them down to schools and. Tidy the dinners up for the kids.
But they did. Jamie Oliver did that for a while, because I remember just after his plans were implemented in every school across the country. This is going back probably 78, 90, could even be more, probably 12 years ago. And they implemented it, and they brought in stuff like broccoli and what have you. And I went to a school with Wayne at the time to see them having their dinners. And what they did was the dinner ladies were told, look, I know they're going to want the pie, the sausage, the chips and the pizza, but ask them, can you just have a little bit of the green stuff on it, or some sweet corn? And they tried to get veg at them, and they all said, oh, go on then, put a bit of broccoli on. And then after they'd had their meal, they carried the plate with a lump of broccoli to the bin and tipped the broccoli in the, so if they're not going to eat it, don't force it on them, you know.
I think we've got to try and start somewhere, like, because
maybe
it's going to be a big problem, isn't it? And you have to come, do you think?
Too many pasty babies. That's the thing.
That's it, mate. Whereas the vitamins, I think vitamins aren't regulated either. They're like food.
Well, they're expensive, though, aren't they? Vitamins are dear. That's the thing. We're at a point now where we can barely afford our heating costs and our petrol, let alone let's have a load of vitamins as well, although that they're certainly necessary. Hey, good talking to you, Edwin. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, buddy, right? Good luck with the show, right? You did a great show.
Well, kind of you. Thank you very much. 0191 488 3188. I think it's time for an Alison. Let's have a dose of Anfield playing. Hello, Alison.
Hi there, Alan.
Hello,
How are you
love.
doing?
I'm good. Thank you for calling in. What you got for us tonight, then?
Well, I'm starting off with a faithful woman with tattoos.
Oh, there you go.
I've just been listening, and I was like, oh, I've got one, and I think they're looking nice.
Now, I'm presuming, in light of what he's just said, you've got a one going right up the top of your thigh.
No, it's tiny. It's about an inch.
Right.
And I passed out twice while I was getting it.
Oh, shit. So it's an inch of what, though, that you've got then, Alison?
Oh, I've got, it's actually on my chest. It's like two hearts and the infinity sign, because it was for my children. So it was like their hearts on my heart.
Oh, that's nice.
That was the story behind it.
You don't care enough about your partner. So, right. So...
No, this is years ago. It was the 1990s.
Yeah. No, I understand. So, but
when you get them done,
that's nice, because I know that there was a builder who was working on my house at one point. This is donkeys years ago, and he had Madeline written up his arm, huge. because he says, "Oh, that's me daughter. I love her. She's the best thing that's happened to me." And I heard a couple of years later that apparently that had the biggest fallout, and he tried to get the top part of the tattoo covered over, and I think it's. They usually stick like flowers and ivy, and do you know what I mean? And it always looks like, oh, they've had their tattoo. That must have been his ex-wife or something, because you don't have it looking like that any other way. But I have seen the tattoo since, and he's got. It's a mess. It's just not worth doing. So just as well, he didn't have names, just had hearts. Good idea.
Yes, I've got no names.
Champion.
But one of the things I was going to ring about earlier is when you were talking about pets and things like that.
Yes.
Things to do and habits and stuff like that. I've got the beautifulest little dog. She is absolutely adorable, gorgeous in every way, but she has got the worst habit.
What kind of dog
can't
first?
Get her out of.
Tell us what kind of dog?
She's a mixed breed. She's a bit of everything. She was we got her from the RSPCA when she was a puppy.
Right.
So she's a bit of everything, but she has just got a beautiful, beautiful soul. She's just gorgeous with people, with animals and everything. She's lovely.
Right.
But she's had this habit since we got her, and we can't get it out of her, and she's 6 now.
Right.
And she eats her own poop.
Yeah, and then licks you because she loves you.
No,
so
she doesn't
much.
do licks.
What?
Thank goodness she doesn't.
All dogs do licks.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't lick at all.
Well, that is a blessing in light of her eating habits.
It is. It means I just have to follow her everywhere. She goes out anywhere in the garden or anything like that. I've got to be right behind her with a bag.
So, do you know why dogs eat their poo?
Well, they say sometimes it's off when they were puppies and things like that, because she had a really rough start.
Yeah.
So she probably wasn't fed.
Right, so she tried to get even more goodness out of...
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
It's not nice.
No. No. Not any... But you say dogs lick their own backsides, don't they? And they lick their own bits and bobs.
Do, but it's not a nice one.
No, but if the breath's not going to be great, even if they didn't, in light of their other kind of habits, if you know what I mean. I don't know what the answer is. You brush the teeth, or because you can get toothpaste and stuff.
To clean her teeth, yeah. But I don't go in there.
No,
I'm not going in there. No, that's her thing.
Because I've never fully understood the teeth thing. And they say, oh, but it's meat flavored toothpaste, and you go, well, look, that's the breath's gonna stink even if you get bits of meat in the toothpaste. That's oh dear. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, you get a little brush as well. You can stick your finger in and get it all clean.
Easter says this dog doesn't lick my backside. He says, well, it doesn't lick your backside, Easter. I can guarantee it.
Wouldn't do that.
No.
Not yet. Honestly, she'll come up and she puts her nose on your nose, but she doesn't lick.
Right.
Never known a dog like her.
But has she got really dodgy breath then?
No. That's the strange thing. She doesn't smell of it. But 9 times out of 10, I get her.
You catch it before she...
I catch her before she eats it. It's not good.
As a habit, it's you talk about bad habits. That's a bad habit. But but
I can think of better ones.
But it's is it a man dog or a lady dog?
She's a girl.
She's a lady dog. Yeah. Because if it was a bloke, you can't say, well, he probably did it for a laugh at a party or something. But no excuses for the lady dog. Oh dear.
Yeah.
What a shame. I know I know.
Not good.
No.
The other thing I was going to talk about is Mother's Day.
Right.
And I think it's far too commercialised.
Right. Yeah,
as a mother myself, and I think it's just a big rip-off.
So what should your family do for you in future then?
Spend time. I think time is the most precious thing.
Yeah.
You just go into the shops and you see everybody clambering for the chocolates and the flowers, and I just think it's like desperation.
Yeah, and in a fortnight to 3 weeks, it's kind of Easter eggs.
Yeah, and like last night when I went in the shops and like you look at like the flowers that they're selling that are astronomically priced, and it's like a few pathetic little flowers that you just think it's so sad. I think it would be better. Like my Mother's Day was cancelled for one of my kids this year because she's got COVID, so I'm actually having it next week.
Right.
So I'm having two. I had one with my son today, and I've got one with my daughter next weekend.
So what did you do with your son? And I know you obviously spent time with him, and that was
came
it.
to the house. Yeah.
Gave you a card?
Yeah. Oh yes, I got a card, and I got a little teddy bear off him.
Right. Now, did you not like the little teddy bear?
I do, but then you like when you go into the shops and you look and you think the price of those teddy bears.
No, you can't argue
it's
that.
nice, but it's nice to have. But time, I think, is what.
And it's also the thing that's most of a premium, because no matter what you do with young children, there's no doubting that they're going to be looking at a phone. And if you can have some proper time where you can talk and laugh and joke and cuddle, you kind of put a price on that kind of thing.
I would go time over any gift.
Right.
Because I just think it's just life is too short, and people just do not concentrate. They just think, oh, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next week, or. And I think time is the most precious gift that anybody can give anybody.
Yeah, you're right. Spot on. Spot on. Hey, good stuff, Alison. Anything else, darling?
No, that's about it.
Tremendous.
I will be on soon because I'm thinking about doing a skydive, so you
need some help.
Some help, so I'll be on. I'm arranging it next week for St Cuthbert's Hospice. So.
Wonderful. Hey, great. Great work. Well done. We'll talk to you then, Alan. Thanks for calling.
Okay, speak to you soon, Alan.
Take care. Bye-bye. There's Alison. Will she need a foot on her backside to push her out? Issa says, this wife's bang on. Time is priceless. No question about that. Okay, I think it is time for another very quick tune. Going to Abbey Road this time. Let's have some Beatles. And this is just a classic. Was it a hit? No. Well, not for the Beatles. It was for Steve Harley. But you're getting the Beatles version of an absolute classic that is perfect for the kind of day we've had today. And he knows I gave my name because he always says I'm Robert Hazlitt to frighten people, because people had heard bad things about him before. You've just heard that noise too.
Did you hear that there?
I did, yes.
It was a chair moving.
It was a chair moving. One of these chairs here.
Like the squeaky sound.
Squeaky sound, huh?
That's your story again, sorry.
No, it's okay. So anyway, came across to Christine. Christine, I've made a boo-boo. Probably didn't use those words. I ended up robbing the Reverend. He's going to bring the force of the troops, and everybody's going to be looking for me. So between Christine and Robert Hazlitt, they came up with a plan. Hazlitt was going to rob as many people as he could within a 24 to 48 hour period. With the money and the goods that he stole in that time, he and Christine were going to run away together and live a happy life. He was going to buy a farm. He wasn't going to steal anymore. This was his dream come true. And, of course, he went on that day to carry out 2 robberies. The first one was Miss Benson, a woman who lost her very expensive watch and a bag full of coins. Miss Benson. And then he noticed in the distance a postman. Now, they weren't dressed in red, like they are now.
No.
But he saw a postman in the distance, and he thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get Miss Benson to scream. And you presume that he got her to do that by cuffing her. She screams. The postman comes running along. Now, Hazlitt's already identified himself, but little was he to know that the postman that was coming along wasn't the local postman for this area in Wrighton. It was his postman where he lived along the road at Clara Vale. Right. And he ended up having to hide in a place called Channels Woods, which is apparently on the other side of Wrighton. If you live in this area, you'll know it. He had a shack in there. And he used to have that shack there. You hearing footsteps, or is it just me?
No, I was like breathing. Was that you, Tony?
It was a squeak kind of far.
I thought it was it.
No,
It's like a squeaky thing.
So anyway,
there's no one else up here.
Bottom line is, you've got him desperate to get as much money as he can. But this postman was his postman from the other side of Wrighton, who knew where he was living. He was in that shack in the woods. So within 24 hours, and he said he was only going to rob for another 48 before running off with Christine. Within 24 hours, he was arrested. He was taken to Newcastle Assizes, which was just at the top, roughly where Warwick Street bus station is. Right. There was a courthouse there. And he ended up being hanged there to a huge crowd. And then they brought his body back, and it was paraded here, but eventually they stuck him on a spike in Gateshead Fell, a little bit further along, because they felt more people would pass it over there than they would out here by the old cross. So, you get that, yeah? Footsteps. Is that you, Robert?
Yeah. As soon as you said Robert, oh my God. What the hell's going on here?
It's Robert.
Did he die here?
No, but this is where he enjoyed his...
well, yeah, he's probably... If it's...
Could come back here. It was his best times.
Yeah, his best times. He wants to be here.
Was that...
Okay,
was that you, Robert? I was just about to say, and he's already there. Had some good times here, Rob. With your beautiful woman. Or is it Christine? Is it you, Christine?
Ooh.
It's Christine. This is where she worked.
Right.
Top floor. The old building, not this building. Christine, how about that? My goodness.
Could be them both.
Are you both here?
Oh, this is crazy.
Are you both here?
Get the necromancer, because you're going to get stuff on there.
Well, hang on, let's keep asking a few questions here too. Did you choose to stay in the same space that you used to have so much pleasure together, Robert and Christine? No. Are you happy here? You're not playing? Just talk to us. We're here for you. Is this the first time you've heard this story in a while? Your story. No? I think we should also look downstairs. Where did you set the box?
It's over the other end.
And just remember that when you go downstairs, even if Tony's not there, the camera's on.
Yeah.
Across the full thing. Well, I'm going to necromance. Right. See if there's anything in here.
Your radio's down there if anything happens. I've got mine.
Robert Hazlitt. Christine?
What?
Did you hear that? Is Christine with you? Christine. Christine Byrne. Are you there, Christine? Who's there? Robert, did you hear that?
Robert.
Robert's here. Good to have you with us, Robert. Is that Christine with you? Okay, so the first three clues are what you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events, The second song, what most shops keep their money in. Third clue, if this were to go off, there would be an explosion of rumpy pumpy. Or rumpus pumpus, as they used to call it in the ancient Rome. Fourth clue in about 10 to 15 minutes. However, pets. We talked a bit about mams on Mother's Day. Still happy to talk about your mam. However, pets. You lot have had some strange, peculiar pets. Dogs, cats, yes. Horses, rats, snails. Your head snail's called Terry.
Terry, I've had him for 22 years, and I googled how long they're supposed to last. Right, I'm starting to think he's a tortoise.
Right, because I mean, how long does snail supposed to last then?
3 to 4 years, Alan.
Hell's bells, and you've had him 22.
Wait, Alan, this is what they're getting out. They're all over my house. Can't control them anymore, right?
Right.
I've been noticing, right? My shoes have been disappearing. They've been eating my old trainers.
Right.
They have, Alan, they've been eating my old trainers, right? And obviously, I'm just a normal working lad with me snails.
Yeah.
And I can't afford to be giving me snails, me trainers.
There you go. And then obviously, there's occasionally a dog caper or two.
We'd left something in the car, and I said, "Are you sure you can hold them?" "Yes, I can hold them." So she decided to put the leash around her, sort of like over her shoulder and around her neck.
Right.
So when I get to the about 300 or 400 yards to the car park, so I get to the car and comes back. As soon as the dog seen us, she hadn't noticed. The dog seen me, shot backwards. The leash caught round her neck, and it was like a cartoon. And she flew in the air, and the dog was just running towards me, dragging her all the way along, you know. And I was dying to laugh, and I'm thinking, if I laugh, she'll kill us. Oh, it's so funny. I was dying to laugh. I'm thinking, oh my God, she's gone. She went crazy. Oh my, that bloody dog of yours.
And of course, some dogs do lick. Answer with a yes or no. Does your little lady dog Whizzer lick your face?
Yes.
Yes. Is it just trying to get the taste out of her mouth after washing its bum?
No, because she doesn't wash her bum face, she washes her bum after.
How sure can you be? Because you'd have to be really sure.
Most of the time.
And also, there's a thing that you have to do to dogs that I had no idea of because I've never been a dog person. And it involves their anal glands. If you're a dog owner, you may have had to... Oh, doesn't even bear thinking about. She's trying to empty her anal glands.
So the vet emptied them.
How many years do you go to college to do that? Oh, so what do they do? Just kind of aim the dog at something and squeeze? I mean, how did she do it? If somebody's sitting there right now eating a stew, I bet they've just pushed the dumpling to the side. Oh, that's horrible. Also, we heard about problems in concert.
Yes, one woman comes with 4 collie dogs. She never cleans them up after them. There's umpteen people come up under them heaps.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the kids come across there and all sorts, you know, and there's summer holidays and nothing.
Yeah, and that dirt can blind them.
Of course it can. And it's just ignorance, Alan, that they don't clean up after them.
And then, of course, there's the dogs that, well, use protection.
The dogs are actually gone in their bedroom. So we're sitting watching the television in the living room. The dog comes wandering through with a tissue with a thing hanging around
with a
mouth,
condom.
You know?
Oh no!
Hanging up with mouth. I'm like, oh my God! Talk about red-handed. That's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened, you know.
So, what stories have you had with your pet? We want to hear from you. 0191 488 3188.
And I went to Smallwood and I thought I'd take the dog along by the river.
Yeah.
And I was walking over the little humpback bridge there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the dog jumped over the top.
No.
It must have thought there was grass
or
something. I got the hell of a shock because I was standing with just the lead.
Now, we were hearing about a ghost cat before. Ghost dogs too.
She had a dog about last week that died.
Right.
And she can hear footsteps all around the house at night time. She thinks she's going crazy. Do you think there can be dog ghosts or not?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I know people that have,
Really?
they've like had a cat, and then they can feel after the cat dies, they can feel it touching their legs and walking past their legs.
was so close to the dog as well.
And let's finally have our last petty thing. Pythons.
Just used to roam around the house.
Do you know what it was?
thing.
What kind of, any idea what type of snake
Some
it was?
kind of pythony type
Pythony
thing,
thing.
a large snake.
Right.
And it had a tank thing, but it was free to roam around the house and what have you. She'd had it for a few years, and one morning it'd gone off its food, wouldn't eat anything, was a bit kind of acting a bit strange.
Yeah.
One morning she woke up and the snake was lying next to her in bed, but ramrod straight right next to her in bed, and she was like, "Whoa, that's a bit weird." And
happens to me. That.
She'd slight size difference, but she'd phoned her friend.
Would be smaller, that's true. Right.
Yeah. Phoned her friend to say, and you'll never guess what the snake law. And her friend said, "Right, grab what you can and get out the house." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Just get out the house. Just grab what you need and go. Don't touch the snake. Don't go anywhere near it. Get out the house." So she did what he'd said, and it turns out that the snake was sizing her up for its next meal.
And they do that by completely
lying
straight
next to you to see if
you'll fit.
They're big enough to see if you'll fit. Yeah.
Oh wow! What did she end up doing? Did you get shot of the
They
snake?
had to get rid of the snake. Yeah, it was a case of
It's either him or me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd never heard that before. Talk to me, Python people. I want your views on that. 01914 488 3188. Are you still wondering where your missus went? 0191 488 3188. Or you can give us a WhatsApp message and we will get back to you. Still time to get you on 07863 431 837. Chris is with us from County Durham. Hi, Chris. Oh, I beg your pardon. I tell a lie. It's actually Anonymous from Whitley Bay. I have jumped the queue. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello, Alan. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for calling. What can we do for you?
Well, I just heard some of your previous calls earlier on, and I thought I'd just give my one of my stories that I've not been able to really speak to anyone about, because
please do.
Yeah, like my mental health thing and all that.
All right, okay. What's your story then, Anonymous?
I've never really spoke to anyone about it, so it's quite like a touchy sort of thing. That's why I'm anonymous.
Okay.
Because it's obviously someone else is involved.
Just don't mention any names, and then we'll be fine.
No, I wouldn't dare do that, mate. Like,
okay, cheers.
Respect for the person, but
okay.
Just a fucking canny.
Oh, I know, but as soon as you just want to open up and you drop an FE, Chris, we're gonna take your call out now. Unfortunately, Chris is waiting in County Durham, as we heard. Anonymous. Anybody can say pretty much what you like. Just don't use any names and don't drop FEs. And if you don't drop an FE, we don't drop you. That's the deal. 0191 488 3188. So let's get back to Chris. We were nearly there so much earlier. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Alan. Good to speak to you, mate.
My pleasure. What can we do for you, Chris? What are you talking about?
Well, I just got some interesting facts, just light-hearted stuff.
Great. Love them. Go for it.
The first one is Fruit Loops are all the same flavour.
Yeah, it's actually a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
It is. No, absolutely. It is, because you expect like the red one to be a strawberry one, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't normally eat breakfast like cereal.
Right.
We'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
Supermarket apples can be a year old.
Oh, really? Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I knew you'd ask about this, so I wrote a bit down. So they're usually picked between August and November, covered in wax, hot air dried, and sent into cold storage. After 6 to 12 months, they finally land on your grocery store shelves.
Wow. So, hey, well, we talk about, we get it fresh and get some fresh apples. Blame me, there's no such thing unless you pick it from a tree.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some kind of like words written on apples to show that they're fresh. I don't know much about apples. I never really eat them, to be honest.
Right, okay.
Right, we're going to the next one. I'd like you to try this one, Alan.
Go on.
Sorry. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose.
Okay, right, okay.
Would you dare try it?
Yeah, of course you will.
Go on
then. Oh, yeah, you're quite... No, a whole ton of things that I want to stay up my nose was just about to come out there. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. That's yeah, stems the flow.
I tried it as well. As soon as I read it, I tried it, and I couldn't do it either.
No.
But we'll move on to the next one. This
All
is not fish one. So octopuses cannot have 3 hearts. Sorry, octopuses have 3 hearts.
Whoa, right.
Yeah, and squids do too.
Right.
1 pumps blood to their whole system, and 2 are dedicated just to the gills.
Now, there's a fascination. 3 hearts. Wow. Right.
Lovely,
They're really good, interesting fact. I love the whole
I've got
interesting
another
fact
2.
thing. Good. Go for it.
I've got a question for this one first. When was the first selfie invented?
First selfie invented? That's a good question.
I'll give you a clue. It was 18 something. Have a guess.
What? The first selfie?
Selfie, yeah.
It's going to be somebody like Edison or I don't know. Who was it?
I haven't written down who it was, but the year was 1839.
1839. That's incredible. So the very first photography started that early. That's wild. Right, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And the next one's linked to that, number 5. It's
Right.
People used to say prunes instead of cheese when having their pictures taken.
Prunes?
Prunes, yeah. In the 1840s, a big dairy say cheesy grain was seen as childish. So one London photographer told people to say prunes to keep their mouths taut. And that look predated today's fish face selfie by about 180 years.
Right, yeah, because that's like pouting, isn't it, if you say prunes?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably where the pout came from, somebody realising that. Last one, the British royal family was named after Windsor.
Yes.
I wrote a bit about this. You would think the Windsor Castle... Yeah. Right. You would think Windsor Castle was named after the House of Windsor, but it's the other way around.
Right.
The royal family changed its name from Saxe-Coburg-Gotha in 1917, so it would sound less German, and chose Windsor because they had ties with the English town.
Brilliant. Hey, top class. I can't argue with your facts. Great stuff, Chris. Thank you very much. Well done.
You're welcome.
Cheers, man.
See you later, mate.
Bye-bye. If you've got any interesting facts that you want to share with us, educate us all, because that was fascinating. 01914 488 3188. I think most of us knew we've got a German royal family. And for all of those people that thought Britons never shall be slaves, we've been Italian when the Romans were here. We've been Scandinavian when the Vikings were here. We've been French when William the Conqueror and the Normans came here. We are currently Anglo-Saxon, and the Angles come from central to Eastern, central to Eastern Europe, that kind of Estonia, Northern Germany, that's kind of roughly where most of us are from. And, of course, the royal family at the present moment, Germans. However, as I discovered, we do an awful lot of history. And there was a massive, glorious lump for supporters only about King Charles II and all of his mistresses and rampant sex and all kinds of children and all the rest of it. And there's an incredible link, because if Prince William becomes king at any point, because his mum, Princess Diana, is directly related to 2 of the illegitimate children of Charles II. So therefore, if Prince William gets in, it will no longer technically be the part of the German royal family. It will be a bigger part of the French, because that's where Charles originally came from. Okay? Charles II, though, remember. 01914 88 3188. Not the one what got his head chopped off. And we have Linda from Barrisford. Hello, Linda.
Oh, good morning, Alan.
Guten Morgen.
Oh, guten Morgen.
Yeah, that's what I said. Hello, how are you?
Not too bad.
Good.
My mother went into hospital last week.
Oh, what's up?
She fell twice. Yes,
Right.
but she's all right. What
She's
was
good.
it? She'll be out on Tuesday.
Lovely. That's
She's in
good
Hexham.
news. Nothing broken, though. That's the main thing.
No.
'Cause
And she was saying, I think I broke my leg. And I thought she hasn't broke her leg, but you know what it's like.
Yeah, but you got to remember, though, when you get to a certain age, all the bones get a bit more snappy. So you got
Yeah.
to be super careful.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I went to go and see her
Uh-huh.
this afternoon.
Right.
But no, this evening I went to go and see her.
Yeah, she's all right.
And, nobody's coming to see me. What was it? Except you.
Right.
And I said, people haven't got time, Mum. What was it? She doesn't understand that. What was it? Everybody's got their
stuff. Everybody's got their own. Yeah, I get it.
and everything.
Yeah.
But never mind.
She'll be out soon.
I went to Jedburgh today with my future daughter-in-law.
I love Jedburgh. Love it.
Yeah.
She'd go up beside the castle in the sun.
Yeah.
Because there's the castle and there's the big priory.
Mm-hmm.
Jedburgh Abbey.
I didn't go to the castle.
You went to the Abbey?
Yes.
Gotcha. They do some great... You know, if you, directly across from the door or the gate leading into the Abbey...
Yeah.
Is, in my opinion, one of the best fish and chip shops I've ever been to.
All right.
That one just opposite there is lovely.
Just opposite there.
Yeah,
right.
It's very nice. Very nice.
Mm.
I mean, during the time when everybody couldn't get into a shop, if you know, during the lockdown and stuff, they would say you had to stand 6 feet apart from somebody and then wait to get to the window where you could shout across the shop saying, "Can I have fish and chips, please?" And then they'd come to the door when they were. It was quite an experience, but the food's normally pretty good up there. Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And then I went to Otterburn as well.
Oh, great.
To the Otterburn Mill.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. It's been a busy day. It's good.
It has, yeah.
Excellent.
I had a big fat sausage roll. What was it in the cafe and and it was delicious.
Great. You see, we're born in... This is the thing. I mentioned before that we had too many pasty babies. It's just, for years, every time you see somebody pushing a pram, the bairn's got a sausage roll or a pasty and it's all over the face.
Yeah.
Because we were very much like that. Never a salad. Always pie and beans, pie and peas, pie and chips. Pasty and chips. Oh, you're going to change tonight, Alan? It's not a pie, it's a pasty. And you think it's not really that much difference, really, between them if you really look at it. But different.
But my
different
son
times.
was over here,
right,
with his fiance. She's staying here. She's from Brazil.
Oh, right, where the nuts come from.
Yeah.
Right.
And because in Germany, she can only be 3 months there.
Right. Why? Why is that rule? I've never heard of that rule.
Well, he hasn't got his divorce papers through yet.
Oh, I see. Right. Gotcha.
So when we're waiting for the divorce papers to come through or whatever, but she would have had to go all the way back to Brazil, but it's easier if she comes here.
Right. It just fills her time in rather than travelling all the way.
And she's helping me with my mum.
That's nice. That's very nice.
Yeah.
So it's fair to say your son's got a Brazilian then? That's good.
Yeah, she's lovely. She is. Her name's Gianna.
Gianna. Lovely name.
Yeah.
That's great. Excellent. Hey, well, congratulations to him. I hope they're very happy together.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to Wales on Friday.
Why, you're non-stop, Linda.
To see my old flame.
Right. Ooh, who's keeping her welcome in these hillsides? Oh, no, that's good. Exciting.
Yeah, so he's going to take me on the coast all the way down into Wales. You know,
nice.
The Mumbles and. Have you been to the Mumbles before?
I haven't been. I have mumbled, but I've never been to the Mumbles. What's it like?
Oh, it's beautiful. What was it? Seaside and everything.
Right,
you know.
That's great.
And Castle Bay. Have you heard of Castle Bay?
I have. I've heard of it. As I say, I haven't been. Haven't been to too many places in Wales. I went to Anglesey.
Oh, that's North Wales.
That's up
What's
the top.
that like then, Alan?
It's very nice. And as I say, when you cross into Wales, it does feel different to England, very much so. And obviously with the names and a lot of the Welsh language being used there now. And I liked it very much. I went to see the castle and everything because I'm into all that kind of thing. But no, I enjoyed it very much.
And in June, I'm going to Liverpool.
Right. Fabulous.
I've been there before. I love it. Well, I love Liverpool.
Solid people. They're very like kind of northern city people, you know. Yeah. Similar background, hard working, shipyards, all that kind of thing. Like Glasgow as well, the Clyde.
I think I'll cross the Mersey and go back again.
And you're going to sing the Jerry and the Pacemakers tune because everybody has to. It's the law. Beautiful. Hey, well, non-stop, Linda. Squeezing the juice out of every second, which is exactly right.
Yeah. What do you usually say? You've got to squeeze the
juice out of it.
Juice out of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
You're right, Alan.
Don't take the chance to let it waste. Every second is important. Make sure you do something with it.
That's right.
If you can.
That's right.
Hey, well, lovely talking to you, Linda. Thank you.
Lovely talking to you as
give
well.
your mummy love, and let's hope she's home soon.
She'll be over the moon.
Tremendous. Take care, darling.
Take care then, Alan.
Bye-bye. There's Linda. And I think it's time for a little piece of music. And we have chosen a corker. Don't think I've ever played this on Greatest Hits anyway. I remember doing a whole 40-minute Prince mix for you at one point. This is just one of Prince's back catalogue. Are there others here? Robert. Okay. Where's Christine? Christine. Busy, isn't it? They caught you, they stopped you. You hear that? You hear the scream?
Yeah.
Sounds very unusual.
Got Robert a few times though.
Christine. Is that you, Kenny? Speak to me. Robert. Christine. Can't believe Ted being so busy. Come on, speak to us. Tell you what, Kenny, can you nip down and grab me rods? Yeah. Oh, you're on the table? They're on just beside my box, yeah. Just the rods, you don't need to bring the other stuff. That's good. Let's see if we can have a conversation with them. Come on, speak to us. Robert and Christine. Come on, speak to me.
Oh, Gwen's going.
Sorry?
Gwen's going.
Oh, hello. Was that you, Robert? Was it you, Christine? Who did that? Was that you? Was that you? Speak to me. Come on. Definitely a woman here. Gwen's just gone?
No way.
Gwen doesn't go. Thanks, Ken.
Is that door slamming?
It was Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Oh.
That door was Wednesday open.
But we've been in and out of it half a dozen times, haven't we? Right. Come on then.
Gwen went.
Gwen went. Gwen never goes.
She never does.
Especially when
Not lately.
Robert's been using Ted. Robert, you still with us? Christine? Let's find out. All right. Is there anyone in this space? Yes, there is. Okay. Oh, errant. Is there more than one person here? Yes. This one seems to be. You working? More than two? Two? It just seemed unlikely that there's only, because if this was what it was, you know, granted it was a different building. Robert, are you there? What's the chance? What's the chances? I don't know. Robert Hazlitt. It's crossing. Are you with Christine? Yeah.
That's a definite, isn't it?
Yeah. Are there other here? Are there just the two of you? Are there more here? Yeah, there's more here. Because hearing voices, if they're all errant spirits, there's a lot more here. I just don't know how to communicate with them to find out. Why did you stay here? Did you come back here because this was your happiest place?
No.
Christine, this is where you worked. Is that why you came back here? She's saying no, isn't it? Look.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a distinct no, isn't it?
No. Could be someone pretending to them.
Possible, anything's possible. Why did you come back here? Or did you just find yourself back here again?
Yeah.
You were brought back here by whatever power,
right,
whatever energy, whatever force. Are you happy to be together? That's not a question mark. Do you intend to stay here? Yeah. Are you happy here? A man said that you switched a lamp on in the distance. Was that you? No. Another person said he saw a light coming out of the floor. Was that you? That's a no, isn't it?
Definitely no.
Are you glad that we're here? Maybe the first time they've heard their own story, you know. You died in 1770. When did you die, Christine? Was it much later? 1775? 1780? Was it earlier than 1780?
Alan Robson.
What are we talking about next? You make the call. 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Okay, we have 4 clues. Have you answered this yet? What you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. That's a song title. What most shops keep their money in. That's another hit. Third clue, if this were to go off, there would be an explosion of Rumpy Pumpy. And the fourth clue, Samson thought she was a useless barber. A lot of people getting this wrong. If you want to be a winner, you call us right now, 0191 488 3188. We have a lady on the line now. Beethoven wrote an ode to her. Three Dog Night had a #1 singing that this woman should be to the world. It's Joy from Great Lumley. Hello, Joy.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for calling. What are you talking about then, Joy?
Well, first of all, I've been told to say I'm a first-time caller and a first-time listener.
Hey! Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. So,
and my good friend Alison at Anfield Flame has told me to tell you that. I know she's a veteran of your programme.
She is indeed. Well, thank you very much. It's lovely talking to you. What you on about tonight then, Joy?
I'm just ringing up to confirm what she said about her dog. Because she said this is the dog that eats her own poop.
Poo, yeah.
Who doesn't lick.
Right.
And I've actually been at Alison's this evening, and I can confirm that I have not been licked by that dog.
Have you been nosed?
I have been nosed. But not licked.
That's funny. We had a couple of other callers ring in say that dogs will eat other dogs' poo, and they get different kind of chemicals from it, apparently.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, just what you need to know. So it's, sometimes you see that advert on the television where there's people sitting, and it's like a Japanese restaurant where all the different dishes come past, and you can pick one off if you so desire. I would imagine the dog version of that wouldn't be very nice to watch.
I shouldn't think so. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I've never dared try going to one of those restaurants because I wouldn't know what I was picking up.
No, it does take a leap of faith to get you started. It has to be said. Anything else then, Joy?
Well, I'm actually a cat person.
All right.
And I am actually, I have a connection with somebody else who's also been on your show tonight, with Nicola.
Right.
Who's been talking about Compost the Cat.
Yes.
Now, Nicola mentioned that her mum had inspired her over the last 2 years.
Yes.
Well, many years ago, in the late 70s, when I came up to Newcastle University, I shared a flat with 4 other girls, one of whom is Penny, Nicola's mum.
Right.
And the other one, she mentioned the lady who's had a cat called Compost. She was actually one of my other flatmates as well.
What's the chances of that? That's fantastic. So, we talked about how you can't call your cat and your cat comes running. Have you got such a cat, Joy?
I have got a cat called Holly, and she does know her own name, and she does come running when I call her name.
Give over. I mean, sometimes I used to be able to get away with it if I had a bowl of food in my hand, then the cat would come running. It was hit and miss the rest of the time. If it felt like
she's quite old. She's
All
quite
right.
old. She's about 16, so I think she's finally learned her name.
Yeah, and she's probably at a stage in her life where she cannot be bothered to fight against the system, so to speak. I understand that. That's nice. 16 years is a good age for a cat, mate. I thought it was like 12 to 14 is.
I know. She's sitting on the bed at the moment looking at me, thinking, why are you still awake at this time of night, Mum?
I think little pointed ears burning as well, probably. That's the thing. Lovely. Hey, well, Joy, lovely talking to you. Thank you for coming on.
And you.
Bless you. Bye-bye. There you go. She's very nice. Chris the Truck. Let's go and talk to him. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Good to talk to you as ever. What you on about tonight? First of all, we all got to find out where you are. Whereabouts are you?
I'm currently in Prudder.
Right.
And I'll be heading to Kent. So.
Right. We're picturing you now in Prudder. Right. Anywhere near the castle?
No, I'm down at the toilet roll factory.
Gotcha. Know exactly where you are now. Thank you. So, what are you talking about?
The sad passing of Taylor Hawkins.
Shock, isn't it? I mean, he was only young.
He was 50, yeah.
Crazy. No age. And they said that his heart was like twice the weight that any heart should be. What exactly happened? Because I haven't seen into too much of the actual medical side of things.
I haven't heard too much about it. From what I've heard, there's possibly narcotics involved.
Ah, right. Well, not really a huge surprise, but I don't suppose, but a damn shame nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the Foo Fighters were a great band. I know they're not really greatest hits sort of territory, but they were a great band.
No, I loved the Foos always. I met Taylor when he had like a solo project out, and he released a single, and he came on the rounds of the like radio stations. He knew it was never going to be, mighty, but he wanted to give it a crack, and we played it, and he was just a nice, solid lad. You could tell that his heart was in the right place. Ironic that I say that in light of what happened, but he was a lovely fella. It's just a shame that he's gone. And obviously whenever I was told middle of the afternoon, the Foo Fighters drummer's dead. Well, when you think Foo Fighters drummer, you think Dave Grohl first, because obviously he was the drummer with Nirvana, and he's a drummer.
Yeah.
And then you realise it was him. What a shame! It is a shame. Anything else when you're on?
No, I haven't really got a lot tonight. I mean, obviously, I've been to see my mum today. Was in a card and all that. So yeah. But other than that, no.
I always thought that Mother's Day was an excuse to go and get a free Sunday dinner. Is that what you did?
No, I finished work this morning at about 8:30.
Oh, blimey.
So
right.
I went home, had a bit of breakfast, and then went down to my mum and dad's, had a cup of tea with them, and then went home and got into bed. And obviously I started tonight at 11 o'clock.
Right. So, I mean, the bottom line is, with your collection of the necessary, because obviously that was the thing that was in massive shortage for no apparent reason at all during the lockdown. Everybody panicked thinking, I'll never be able to wipe me bottom again. Presumably it's business as normal now then, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, the sort of kerfuffle that there was during the lockdown, at the start of lockdown, was just ridiculous, because people were panic buying stuff when there wasn't really any need. There wasn't a shortage of the stuff.
Sure.
It was just because people were bulk buying stuff, there wasn't any on the shelves.
Because we had a little bit of that with the petrol, where they said, the petrol's going to, Russia, they're going to stop everything. And everybody rushed to the pumps and created their own problem, because if they just kept normal, it wouldn't have been an issue. I've got an email about you, and it's from Gary, who said he used to be a truck driver about 22 years ago. And he says, can you ask Chris what rules he has at the present moment for the amount of hours you can drive? What's the current standard?
Well, we're using, we're still on the EU rules if you travel to Europe.
Right.
So if you're doing European work, you're still working under the European rules.
Right.
So you can drive for 9 hours a day, and you can extend that up to 3 times a week to 10 hours.
Right. And if you're just staying in Britain like your good self?
It's you just the 9 hours. It's basically the same.
9 hours, right?
So, yeah.
With a hint of extension. And because I don't understand how you do it. The furthest I've ever driven was about 7.5 hours, and I was already taking pretty much 2 lanes by the time I'd finished. You know what I mean? That little slidey thing that you do. Can I cope with it? But I suppose it's part of the discipline of doing the same thing day in, day out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, you get used to doing the job, don't you? So
right. It's always been one of those things that and I don't know whether it's the same for most blokes. And no disrespect, ladies, I'm sure there's a few of you fancy it too, but it's just we've seen so many shows, and you're just driving, and you're your own boss, and you're on the road, and you're just free, and it's one of those things that I think we all fancy a bit. We could all do a bit of truck driving, just stop where you're like, I'm going to buy a Mars bar, and I don't care who is out there to stop me. I'm going to do it.
Oh, you can't buy Mars bars, it's Yorkies.
Oh, of course. Forgive me. Or a chunky Kit Kat these days as well. You can probably get away with it.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's lovely.
Yeah.
Get yourself home safe, Chris. Lovely talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Al.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. Chris the Trucker. And always kind of keeps up with us. Good stuff. We have time, I think, for a quick dose of Matthew. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, Alan. You all right, mate?
Yes, I'm
right?
all the better for talking to you. What you been up to?
I'm happy to speak to you. Good. I'm going out with Ian on Wednesdays. It's going to snow on Wednesday, isn't it, Alan?
Everybody's talking about how can it snow when everybody's been sunbathing today? That's just crazy, but that's what I'm hearing. Right.
Yeah. Do you think I'll still be to go out, Alan, if it's snowing?
Yeah, just put your hat on and wrap up warm.
I probably will. 3 more things, and I'm going to write it down. I'm saying, Alan, when's the Night Owl SoundCloud thing going to happen? I'm very excited.
It is going to happen probably within about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll be a podcast. It'll not be on SoundCloud, but it'll be a podcast, I'm being told.
That'll be good.
So
I've got Google Podcasts. I've got an account.
Champion.
3 more things I'm saying, Alan. In Coronation Street, they did a storyline where Adam Barlow got pushed over the edge. He did, you know what I mean?
Pushed over the edge of what?
He was in a supermarket, and there's a lady called Olivia on it, and she just pushed him over the side because she was trying to fake an affair with him, and it didn't work. His wife, Sarah, from the police, did, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so did he get pushed into one of the freezers or something?
No, he got pushed where he was at the top of the stairs, Adam Barlow, and he got pushed.
So he pushed down the stairs. Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah,
right.
I was a bit concerned. I was saying to Ian, don't worry, we'll push you over the edge. Shout it to Mary and Jimmy, shout it to me. They were playing, Alan. Do you think it's going to be sunny tomorrow, by the way?
Yes, it's going to be lovely tomorrow. I'm quietly confident.
Yeah. I'm glad the snow's not going to stop us going out. I'm saying, Alan, what do you believe Putin's gone too far now?
Yes.
By the way.
Well, he went too far the day that he invaded, so he's going even further too far.
I think he must be evil like Hitler. When you get men like that who are evil, and you think to yourself, oh, you're going to be evil. I thought myself, Alan, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. You wouldn't want to live next to Putin, would he? He'll kill you.
It's very sad.
Yeah,
very sad.
It is sad. It's nice that our country's helping the Ukrainians and that coming back here. I mean, nice that they're getting help in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
complicated. If somebody's going to pick on them and be nasty like that, why they got to do that for? Is the podcast going to be on every Friday, Alan, like it did with Night Out at the Talk years ago?
We're not sure of the day yet, but we'll sort it out. We'll let you know in plenty time. Okay.
Yep. I've been playing the new Xbox. And I've been playing that, having a good time.
Is it good? What's the difference between that and the first one then?
This one's only digital games, by the way, Alan. This one's only digital games. I'm going with Ian for fish and chips on Wednesday.
Oh, I'm very jealous. You enjoy them. Have a lovely time, Matthew.
I'm saying, Alan, are you doing a ghost hunt this week?
Yes.
Even if it snows or not? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll do my shout out to Jean. Is Jean coming on, Alan?
She's not in the queue that I can see, so I don't think so.
Okay. I know I've got 5 minutes left. I'm saying, Alan, what's your favourite David Gray album, by the way?
David Gray album, White Ladder.
Mine's they bring the new James Blunt album out. Did you get it, Alan?
Yes, very nice. Very nice.
Yep. Good night, Alan. Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Bye-bye. So there is Matthew. Right, you have one final chance to win yourself our competition. Now, an awful lot of people have got this wrong. So have a go. Have a try. Some of you will know the answer and you just haven't called. No excuses. Pick up your telephone and give us a ring. The 4 clues are, finally, last Chance Saloon. What you say when you inquire of your feline about recent events. That's your first song. Second song, what most shops keep their money in. Third clue, if this were to go off an explosion of Rumby Pumpy. And Samson thought she was a useless barber. Whose hits are they? Finishing off with a